Good evening, guys. How are we? On a day that's becoming a monumental day. By all accounts, we might actually be able to answer that $1 million question. Kuva, have we signed somebody?
I don't know. It looks that way. It looks that way. It looks like we actually might have done it now. But we'll see. We'll see. We've gone this far before. We've definitely signed someone, and then it hasn't worked out.
No.
So wait until they hold up the shirt. It's the cliche, isn't it?
Yeah. Until that shirt's being held with the contract, or they've done the little video where it's like, yeah, they're signing the contract. That's the time when I'll get proper excited. But in between, what have we got?
So panic buys because Andy Carroll had gone.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, don't know. Maybe we could, buy what's the Burnley guy from Newcastle? Maybe we might be able to get him. What was his name? Chris
Wood.
Yeah, because he'd be good.
Yeah, he's no Jordan Ayew though, is he?
Nah. Oh man,
we'll get him in the summer. That'll be fine. We'll be sweet.
Oh, that'd be just. Oh, right. On that, I'm going to have a little time out and just see who's in the comments because we have, like I say, we've got a lot of people. So R2D2 is in the comments with Alex. Levy thought the steak and the steak won. Brilliant. Oh, dear. Right. Who else we have? Salary agent. Evening, my man.
Big up, mate.
Oh, interesting one for you then, Coov. Go for it. Ben,
I'm very worried about what's about to happen. Kuva is going off the rails. And why is that exactly? No, it hasn't started yet. I will be when I finish this first pint of drink. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Special blend. Yeah.
Special blend of. Is it what?
It's a bit of the dark rum tonight. It wasn't Jaffa Cake one this time though.
Oh, nice. Yep, Carl Simpson, loving this, gents. Who needs sleep? I mean, yeah, it's like 1:10 in the morning. I mean,
bring on the next game.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the football again.
Paul Brown, evening fellow insomniacs, deflated TFC. Yeah.
We're making signings. It's good now.
Yeah.
Levy in.
I mean, we've literally got today and tomorrow to get. We've got less than 48 hours left. We've got 47 hours left now.
We could pretend we actually signed who we were going for in the first place.
Yeah, it's like boom, boom. Carl, yeah, the Ricky Villa goal never gets old. Do you know what? It's 41 years old. Are you bored of it yet, Coov?
Nah, of course not. It's like Gaza's free kick. Another 100 years, still be playing that.
Oh, just as a quick question then, which one's more iconic for you, Gaza or Ricky?
Ricky,
because it won the cup.
Yeah, exactly. Can't beat a trophy.
I think we had an awful discussion earlier about how low we would stoop to take a trophy, and I think Sean will vouch that it was low for us. It was really low.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing broadcastable, obviously, but
prepared to go to the depths of depravity for silverware.
Yep.
And anybody I'm prepared to sacrifice anybody and anything.
Kids, family, partners, exes, anything.
Throw them into the grinder if it gets silverware. That's fine. Adios.
Oh dear. Right. Oh, we have Dermot. Oh, hello, Dermot.
This is very quick. Breaking news. We've got one in. So 1,000% confirmed. He's flying to London tonight to sign the contract. It's a 35 million deal with add-ons with a 5 million loan payoff for the loan deal. 35 million plus add-ons and Champions Leagues to add up the price. So that's that Kulusevski.
Kulusevski, yeah.
Yeah, he's in. And the second one, he's flying to London tonight or tomorrow and will be signed up by Monday. And that's the other Juve player, because Juve want to get a player in, so they're both of them are 90% done. One's 100% done, the other one's 90% done.
So That's already dropped 2 minutes ago. It was 1,000%. Now it's
Okay,
only-
it's once 1,000%.
We're signing 10 of them, and now it's only one, is it?
No,
Bloody Levy. Missed out on 9
Fucking
players.
hell,
Right,
Jesus,
one-
what's going on?
one is 1,000%, and the other one is nearly done. He's just got to cross the I's and dot the T, but I can confirm that first one's in. He's flying to London tonight to sign the contract.
What, at 1:15 in the morning?
He's on his way.
He's eager.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. Good
Does
stuff.
I
do we
apologise
have to
for
play
great crashing your show. I do apologise.
Do we have to play Paratici overtime then if he's working at 1:15 in the morning?
Yeah, he wants an extra Happy Meal and a Big Mac. That's what he's looking for. That man doesn't sleep. That man only sleeps 2 or 3 hours a night.
Wow.
So I apologise for crashing your show. I will leave you in peace now, but that was just thought I'd break in and give you that bit of breaking news.
Fair enough, mate.
Hang on. Is this your message here, Dermot?
Yeah, that's it. That.
So it's 100,000%. Bloody
Yeah.
hell. So we're signing 10,000 players.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and then Dele Alli's going out with a Happy Meal, and Don Bellier's going out with a big Burger King meal.
Right. So where are those two? Where are those two going then?
From what I'm hearing, Tongay's going to Valencia. That's ongoing. Dele Alli still 50-50. He may well be there after the January window closes, but he will be gone by the summer. So that's also what I'm hearing. But don't be surprised if Tangay and Dele Alli are still there at the end of the window. Gil is...
It also says you hard it here frist on TTG.
I know.
We
Yeah,
do like
I
a
did
bit
it
of
with...
hard fristing on this channel.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, I know it's the
Yeah.
late night, Dermot, but you frisked in peace.
Right. I've actually wrote that with that McGlasses on because God knows what it sounded like.
Nothing good.
It's the Saturday
Oh, yeah.
show, mate. Anything goes.
Right. Okay. I'm going to go and hide my head in shame now for writing that on our channel. Sorry, I do apologise.
No, it adds to the show, mate. Good stuff.
Yeah.
That is what you call quality content.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for popping on the Rooney in your show. I'll leave you in peace now. Phil and Cooper, have a great show, mate, and I'll see you tomorrow, lads.
All right.
Will do, mate. Cheers.
Take care. See you Monday.
See you later.
And Wayne Bonner saying, have we bought Fraser Campbell yet? Yes, we have.
Oh,
He's on a 10-year deal with add-ons.
Yeah.
Aaron Dove,
Yeah, go
go on. How's all? Guess I should crack a beer. Thought I was going to have an early one, but F that. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
we decided.
grab a beer and we haven't put the link out, have we?
We haven't put the link out because you're just slacking, Phil.
Sorry.
Phil, you're slacking. You're slacking, man.
I thought you
Go on.
Yeah.
go. Shh, shoot,
Go.
bloody
Well,
channel
Stephen
owner.
Clark, right, more importantly, have we got rid of anyone? Not yet.
Got rid of
We heard it
Dermot.
here from Dermot that no.
Right, no, there you go. Then we're stuck with them all. We're just going to keep gathering players. No, there's lots of talk of players going out, but wait and see what happens. I reckon 5 in was that. I'm coming on. Give me 1 minute, Alex. Alex is coming.
Right, here we go, R2.
The man in the cupboard. The man in the cupboard.
Come on, closet man. Come on. And anyone else who wants to pop on? Pop on, have a little word, see what happens. Let's keep this chat going.
Unless you're going to be serious, because that's just not
Yeah,
what this
they
show
could
mate,
be
this
fun.
time. No, this is the late Friday show. So none of this sensible talk. We're just beyond that.
What's this one from Ben? The Vuna.
Oh yeah, that's vegan Gooner. That's Alex Hilton. There was things transpired, and it turns out he's nothing to do with the steak at all.
Oh my.
Right. I'll get on with the comments while you're.
No,
so
it's just
it's okay.
yeah. No, I just heard from obviously from Brian. So yeah, I was just having a quick look at some of his comments, which have been good. I think that's we're far enough down. We've just got this last one then from Damio has finally been signed.
Yeah, I can confirm he's in. He's on a 15-year deal with add-ons as well.
Right. Which one was Damio? Who's the youth player? The youth player. I can't remember where he came from. The non-league player striker that we were trying to sign.
Oh, Tanner was that?
Tanner, yes. Ollie Tanner, isn't it?
Ollie Tanner, yeah.
Yeah. I just is that really something that we should be doing in January, or is that almost like a behind the scenes one? Once everything else is done, it's like, yeah, we've got one ready for the future. Or
just wondering if they did it, broke the news for comedy value. I mean, had you ever heard of him? I certainly hadn't.
No. Oh, Carl. Yeah.
Well, somebody said about Levy and Tanner, and I thought we thought we were talking about like going to a salon to like improve his skin tone.
Yeah.
Cole Simpson, I have heard that we're after 3 more players as well. They are saying don't rule out Paratici having more lined up. Well, that's the thing with Paratici, isn't it? He's got about 10 lined up, but we're only actually going to go for a couple. If we get some more in, it could actually turn into a really good window. But we'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, we're just working my way down to yes. So celery agent, Ollie Tanner. Yeah, so we were right with him. But yeah, so is he the one that was an Arsenal fan? Is he the one that slated Kane or something on Twitter?
Yeah, I think there was something about that happening. So yeah, so that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Ben saying Paulinho's coming back with his samba skills. That'll be something. That'll be something.
You know the 7 signings we made when when Bale left. Who would you rate as the worst one?
Paulinho, got to be, hadn't it? I mean, Kirikez was pretty bad in places, but Paulinho just by the time he left, you weren't even sure if he was playing football. He was just like in a daze. It was just awful stuff.
Right. Oh, we have our first guest has popped on, and it is. He needs no introduction, but here he comes.
Na 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 na. Say, and we all say we need to sign a player. Oh no na 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 stay.
Anyway, Alex, how are you, my man?
I'm okay.
And where were you last Friday? We were calling out for you. We sent you the R2D2 bat signal.
COVID disconnected it.
Yeah. But what's your thoughts then on the transfer window then so far?
Here we stay. So for Bentancur and Kulusevski.
Yeah. that's that covered conclusively.
Yeah.
I love transfer news with Alex and Steak.
Yeah. Why use 50 words when we can just use one? How was it? Rubbish. Okay, moving on then.
We haven't even heard R2 yet.
Yeah, where is R2?
Who else we got as well? The link is in the comments for any of the usual crew coming on. There he is.
There he goes.
Get down.
Does anyone else want to really know what is going on in Alex's bedroom? Because that sounds odd as hell.
Is that a cat?
So I tried to do an impersonation of R2D2. Whenever it slides, it makes a noise.
Okay.
Right. Right. Okay. Let's go for some of the other comments. Carl Simpson, Tanner didn't want him anyway. I thought everyone slagged off Kane in tweets. Yeah, that did seem to be
not going to engage him well with the crowd, is it, or the rest of the squad?
Oh, he meant Gooner, not Footer. I see. Yeah. Bloody autocorrect. Ryan saying, "Evening, mate. Tanner rejected us because the abuse he got on Twitter for giving Harry Kane abuse. Quite right too." Aaron saying to Ben, Ginger, mate. Ginger is a blend of Brazilian culture that seeped into football fields. Ginger?
Blend of culture, English football.
Oh no. Ryan said I read it as Levy found a tenner.
Yeah,
It could be.
This is such a great comment from Ben.
Only Tottenham could stress us out for 29 days, then sign 4 players on the last 2 just to give us a heart attack. True enough.
And Aaron picking out Kirichez. I think that must be in relation to who was the worst of the 7.
Yeah, it was pretty shocking as well, but he had comedy moments.
Yeah.
I like the one where he was blind drunk and staggering around in the snow one of the winter breaks, but yeah, he was absolutely shit-faced. It just kind of explained some of the performances. Mark Cousins, I just said I'm home from the pub.
Yeah.
Perfect time, mate.
Perfect timing. Tell me you got a kebab. I went out. I went on the lash last night, and we came home. We had a big bag of Watsits and cheese and biscuits. It was nice, but it wasn't kebab meat.
Steak kebab is the only kebab.
Certainly is. Alex, do you want to just double check your internet, because you do seem like very bitty? It's like you've not like got your proper signal. I'm happy if you want to reconnect or anything, but just to make sure, because you do keep sort of breaking up in between, mate.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So yeah, just sort yourself out and then just pop straight back on. No problem.
Sort yourself out.
Hello?
Get R2 to fix it.
Hello. Oh my God.
Oh dear.
How many people are watching this? Do you not have anything else better to do?
Yeah, it's 24 at the moment.
Somehow. Why do people watch this? That's more the question.
Yeah.
Sushant Basal was saying it looks like transfer window seems to open for Spurs, but right wing back is must without Kulichevsky and Bentancur. You guys happy?
I've got a little one for you here, Coop. Do you think we have got any possibility of converting Lucas Moura to a right wing back?
No.
No, he needs to eat some steak and bulk up.
That's damn right. More steak needed, definitely.
I'm just like, because if we do get somebody like Kuva, I'm going to call it Kuva. No, but if we do get this guy in, you would suggest it's going to be the Moura position. Moura's going to lose his position, isn't he? Because Son and Kane are definites, aren't they?
Yeah. There are. It's possible, I suppose. Lucas Moura does just chase. He does chase back a lot and puts the shift in, but he's not a natural wing back, is he? Definitely. But then again, he's not a natural winger either. I don't know what.
No, I mean, it's like what is his position?
Outfield.
Yeah.
That's it.
So slightly further than midfield, but not quite a striker.
Yeah, that's right. Alex, anything you'd like to add to that about Lucas Moura?
He plays on the right wing. The second striker.
Thank you to Alan Hansen there for that.
Right. Got Mark Cousins to join the stream. Let's
bring him in
there. Whoops.
Oh,
welcome to the steak.
Welcome to the steak show, Marky boy.
Morning,
How
Mark.
are we?
Well, we've gone from one extreme to another. I don't know if you picked up the comments, but by all accounts, we've gone 29 and a half days with nothing, and now we look like we could be doing 4 signings in the last 48 hours.
4.
Wow. Anything,
All of them left wingers.
That'd be a para teacher going to Milan. Like that.
Well, that's the training tape for our defence.
Yeah. Right. Come on, Eric Dyer. You're at the front of the line.
Mark, have you sort of been oblivious to all the transfer news this evening and just been having a good one?
I've been in the pub.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's no excuse, mate. Should be nailed to your phone while looking out for transfer news.
Why give up?
Nailed a mistake.
No, that looks like we signed Kulusevski and Bentancur or whatever the other one's called.
Call him Bentaleb, but it's not
Bentaleb, yeah. Bentaleb and Kuva.
Both of them.
Yeah.
We got both of them.
Looking that way.
Well, according to Dermot, it's 100,000% signed for Kuva, and the other guy's 90%.
It was only 1,000% at first, so we were a bit worried. But then when it went up to 100,000% certain,
we're taking it as pretty.
That's at least 50-50, isn't it? Nearly a third.
What you're saying then? It's what you're saying then. It's a waste of time me coming on Monday then.
No.
What?
Why?
Well, we ain't gonna sign nobody else.
Yeah, of course we will. We'll go crazy.
Well, whatever.
Still probably won't have finalised it by then anyway. So it's Levy.
He'll be rejected by then.
We were so close. We missed the deadline by 12 minutes. I mean, we only have 31 days, and it's difficult to do deals in January, as we all know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, everyone else does.
Yeah. Who's the guy gone to Newcastle? Is it Bruno Guimaraes?
Guimaraes, yeah.
Yeah. And apparently, listening to one of the Twitter feeds earlier, we've been in for him. So, again, if we have, how does Newcastle beat Tottenham? Okay, they may offer a ton more money.
Levy didn't offer enough steak.
There you go.
That could be it. Fresh prime meat cuts. That'll do it. Does it every time.
From Waitrose.
Do you reckon Levy shops in Waitrose?
Nah.
It'll probably have to be at night, unless someone else would have to take a picture of him. Or be egged in the middle of the store.
True. Yeah, well, that is definitely a possibility. Levy isn't going to go shopping at all, is he? He'll be getting one of his groundskeepers to go out and, I don't know, where he does blow up a pheasant with a bazooka or something. I don't know. Do you reckon he's even a steak man? I reckon he's pheasant all over. Pheasant and venison.
Yeah, venison.
Yeah, because he does look a little bit deer in the headlights whenever he's on film, doesn't he?
I think he eats more like fish.
Right, so, Angel Matos. Good evening. It's 1:45 at the bar. Hello, gorgeous. I'm the 7th most handsome man in my village. Nice.
Good job.
Who's done that rating?
That's true. Are there 7 people in the village? Is that what you're saying? Or no? Don't know. Aaron Duff bedroom, his Mars basement, and he just stood on his couch.
Yeah.
Bedroom is what?
It's Alex. We're always debating where he is. I thought he was like in his cupboard with his R2D2, but
yeah. Now there's a theme tune for Tottenham Hotspur, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to bring up one here from Mr. Spurs. Signing players is never late. Lol. It seems Lewis and Adama were smoke screens. I'm going to beg to differ on that. They are late. We played. How many games have we played this month?
Exactly. They could have been in those teams, couldn't they?
Yeah. You know, if you look at the biggest one would be the bench on the last game against Chelsea. When you're looking at that bench, if you'd had the two that we're talking about tonight, that would have made a difference. May not have won the game, it may not have affected the result, but it's that whole momentum, morale building. It just, you know, I still struggle with the fact if we know who we wanted, and these are definitely the players we wanted, why it's taken so long.
We were linked with them previously as well.
Yeah.
And they both beat Chelsea in the Champions League. So
there we go. All the more reason. But yeah, you certainly can sign people too late because that's quite possibly cost us points. Southampton as well.
Yeah.
That painful draw. Ben saying Alex got a new lead-lined wardrobe. That's why his signal is naff. That could be it. Cuts down on the sound, cuts down on the volume, but not the clarity.
And a big up to Cody. We've changed the show for you tonight, Cody, so that you're not colouring in. So I'm guessing it's 8:30 your time. So be good to see you later.
You can colour in the transfers, what we've done.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, that's true. That's in honour of Cody. Let's get their little colouring book there in the corner.
Yeah, there you go, Cody.
Just a blank sheet.
We have
Hot Furious. Hello, mate.
Evening. There's Mr. Spurs. Now I'm going to agree with you on that one. Moura is gone. He will be a bench player now. Absolutely.
Yeah, he has to be. He's not consistent enough.
Yeah,
that would be my biggest concern with, you know, Lucas Moura can be Ajax or Lucas Moura can just be. I would say his biggest quality is he tends to care, doesn't he? He's like there or thereabouts.
He dribbles a lot.
It's all the steak he eats. He always used to be really good for us when he came off the bench as well. So that could actually work doubly well. Because upgrade on the pitch and upgrade on the subs bench. So sounds good to me. What else we got here? There's Dermot. In my FIFA 22, I won the league with Spurs and we win the Champions League final. Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Dreamland.
Yeah. Stephen Cartwright, you've got to be an athlete to play wing back. You have. Definitely. Bit of and it helps if you're in a car. Bit of pace, bit of crossing ability. That's definitely got to have some of that. Carl Simpson, there was rumours that Brighton want Road on them, potentially Doherty. So why are we not taking a punt on seeing if we can prize Lamptey away? Absolutely. Would love to see that.
Straight swap.
Probably because two of those are rubbish and one's very good. And why would you swap one very good thing for two rubbish things?
Because it's better.
Yeah.
For us.
Better for us.
Depends if you prefer like quantity or quality. If you have a massive steak, would you prefer a massive steak then but it's not as good as a small steak? But what's good?
Massive steak wins every time.
Yeah, but it's less quality.
Oh, it doesn't matter. All steaks quality. Right, Ben saying I need Cody Mack and his mythical voice to say the magic pronoun. Sean.
Come on, Cody.
On the sheep.
Back to,
oops.
Sorry.
Oh.
There we go. Back to Mr. Spurs. Moura just does what he wants. Do you know what? I genuinely do. I do quite like Lucas Moura, but for me, he's not good enough to be. He's not consistent. He's not good enough to be at our club, I don't think. I would happily sell him.
Yeah.
But possibly a good squad player. But I don't know, 10, 15 minutes to go and you want a bit of energy and someone who can dribble. Yes.
Run down a blind alley.
Or
And
we could,
that's the problem, isn't it? You know, this is all Spurs fans on here, and we're all saying the same sort of thing. That's where we go with it. Dermo, still don't agree. Leave me out. I think that's back to Mr. Spurs' comments and that.
could well be. Aaron saying, Dermo, I thought Sean had become a verb. Sean. Can't do it the same way.
Now, this man provoked me to come on tonight, so where is he?
Well, Aaron.
In the comments.
Yeah, get yourself on, Aaron Dove. Why not?
Call him out.
Come on, Aaron.
Come on, Aaron.
Come on, Aaron. The steak won't bite.
It might. Ben saying, what's the stream? Well, that's the stream getting copyrighted. Oh, is that for the music? Yeah, probably.
What music?
You're doing the Benny Hill theme tune and things like that. I forgot what they call it now.
No, it's called the Steak Hill now.
All right, fair enough. The steak song. You can't copyright the steak song on us.
I own a channel then.
Dermot saying, Ben, I agree 100%. Carl saying, definitely Ben. Dermot, sort them out.
We need Danny Kiriakou on.
Ben Tillab and Cuba propping up the midfield. What a time to be alive, says Ben.
Yeah.
I'll give it a go. I'll work for a lot less than they do anyway. Aaron Dove, more Benny Bryan Hill music, Alex. He's thinking about it. It's going to come. Dermot saying, big up, Mark. Monday night. Oh yeah, Mark coming on for Monday night.
So definitely. I think what time? I think they're doing the show 9 till 11.
12, isn't it?
9 till 12. But also at the same time, Kuva and I are going to run our own show. We're going to do 8 till 1 in the morning. So, you know, you've got to pick your favourite channel. So it's a bigger... Mark, we might poach you. What do you think, Mark? Can we get you on our side of the fence?
Russ.
TTG off.
Dermot is my West Country brother.
Wow. I don't want to tell you I lived in Taunton for 15 years. That would be like... You know,
that's a bit further away than where Cuba lives.
Yeah.
It's still. Yeah.
Oh,
sorry, back in a second. I'll be that kebab ordered on Wednesday. Mr. Spurs said again to Dermot, time will show. Luis Diaz or Adama both would have replaced Mora. Mora's 29 years old. His time is coming to an end. At some point, yeah, definitely. Like I said, though, he might just make a useful little sub to have at the moment. Certainly to the end of the season. If he does his bit coming off the bench and helps us get into the Champions League, it's worth everything.
How can you say that after Ajax?
Well, you can't just live on one game, can you?
Well, it's multiple. He got the Ajax, he got the Man United, he got the Norwich. So it's more than one.
First hat trick at the stadium. That was him.
Right? Yeah, but it's like a League One team against Huddersfield.
It was Huddersfield, but
you could do that.
Still, never mind. Move on, though. Got to move on eventually. Ben Kaufman, Levy definitely shops at Harrods or Fortnum's because it's the best for steak.
Yeah, it's a pity that he doesn't do the same principle when he's looking at buying players, isn't it? Yeah, we don't need the best; we need the best potential.
We do. Thin pickings again tonight. Not many people wanting to come on. What's wrong with everyone?
Yeah, come on, let's call you out.
Come
and join us. Ben, come and join us. Cody, come and join us. Join Aaron and the rest of the team.
And Mark.
Yeah, no, Mark's already here.
All on that. All on. Get everybody on.
Team, Mark.
We'll make room. Carl saying maybe leaving can employ Delhi to do that.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Dermot saying Mr. Spurs still don't agree. I can see him playing as a right wing back. Yeah, fair. All down to opinions, isn't it? If we can try and get centre back and right wing back, says Carl Simpson, Conte, it shows Conte we are backing him and keep him happy. So that is important too. I'd have to agree.
Yeah.
Can we be sure exactly what Conte wants though? Because we're kind of guessing with a lot of it, aren't we?
That's the most frustrating part is we think he's frustrated or peed off, but we genuinely don't know.
Yep, true.
Wow.
Cody saying a work of art. Yep, colouring at its finest up in the top right corner where the logo is. Ben saying, going to bed, lads. Catch you later.
You can't go to bed now. It's only 2 in the morning. Should be making steak breakfast.
Oh, Carl Simpson. Phil, too much negativity. I'm sorry, my man. Doherty and Rodon could walk into prime Barcelona. I mean, I watched a bit of their Champions League win the other night, and I'm thinking, yeah, do you know what? They rather than Dani Alves and Puyol, they really missed Doherty and Rodon. That would have just finished that side off.
Exactly.
Who is this Rodon man?
He's a 5-time Ballon d'Or winner at age 8.
What was his secret to what was the secret to his success? Was it in his diet, Alex? What was he eating?
He was eating steak.
Obviously.
All makes sense.
He put the juices, like the fat of it, and then he put in the glass. He drank it with the steak, so it's a steak drink as well with it.
Steak with steak drink. Oh, brilliant! Steak chaser to go with the drink. Yeah, why not?
Oh yeah. Alex talking logical common sense as always.
Exactly. Only speak the facts.
Driving the show forward as ever.
Where is he? Where is this Aaron?
Aaron, yeah.
Where are you?
He called me out.
Come on, Delia. Where are you?
Yes. Lesby Avenue.
Come on.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, everyone, please hit the like and subscribe and hit the bell
for the more of this
Alex,
quality
hit the bell.
I have.
Yeah, I've done that.
Where's my bell? I have it. I have a bell somewhere. Wait a minute.
You had a doorbell earlier.
You're really looking forward to that. Cole Simpson saying he thinks Stevie B will leave this window as well. That's always a possibility.
Yeah, hit the bell.
Is that like a little glass with your toothbrush in it or something? Get that steak out there. Hot Spurious. Moura is pretty devastating against tired legs late in the match. Yeah, he can be. He's done that a few times. Bill, no fucking way, man. Okay. Well,
I'm wondering if that's about that's our secret show Monday. That's what it will be.
Oh yeah, must be. Aaron said, "Give me 20 minutes. I'll neck a pint of neat ethanol." Hope it's a
come to Somerset.
Dermot saying we need more. Phil Levy out, Enoch out. Fair enough. Colson TTG all day long. Perhaps not all night long though.
Yeah, but you can replace more of with Jack Clark, who's a World Cup winner with England.
That's true. Could replace him with a cow because you get steak from cows.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll nourish the rest of the team. It might just get through some tight spots then.
Yeah, mooing down the wing.
It would help look after the grass as well, wouldn't they? They wouldn't need to cut it.
Exactly.
Do you see Carl's comment there? That doorbell reminds me of Noel's house party. What a great show that was. You remember that?
Yeah.
Which was basically, if for any of you not younger people, what that was is, Saturday night takeaway with Ant and Deck. it was Noel's house party from 20 years ago.
Yeah,
But I think his was better.
but Noel's house party, they had the bonus of sacrificing humans in sheds, didn't they?
True fact.
Oh, here
True.
he is. He is the man, the legend. It's Aaron.
How's the Ethan?
Alan.
Yeah. Start calling me out on her.
You there, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm here. Jesus, man. Cuz is baiting me, man, to join in. I'm too sober for this, man. Seriously. I'm going to have to catch up with you boys.
You're unsober.
That
Right,
reminds
fetch
me,
my
mate.
time.
Oink, oink. So, Kieran, yeah.
Alex,
Kieran,
do I not-
jump on when you're ready.
Alex, do I not get a steak song, mate? Do I not get a steak song intro, man? for joining
No,
in?
no. Steak. I don't know what to sing. We all like steak.
That's it, man. That's it, man. I need that tune as my intro.
Hang on. With a steak side, with a steak side, with a steak
Steak
side.
Nah.
I thought I was joining.
Steak.
I only joined in to annoy Phil about Ireland winning the Six Nations, but anyway, I guess it's a football stream, so yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait for.
It doesn't go back that far. What year was that?
No, fuck off, man.
Because it won't be this year, that's for certain.
Yeah. And we're winning the fucking the European Champions Cup as well, man, with Leinster. Definitely, man. All right, anyway, back to football. Alex, what are your views on the signings that we're supposedly about to make?
Yeah, but there's no signings of steak.
Oh, okay. Okay. And leaving steak aside, just for a moment, what are your views on the two lads? Because I don't watch Italian football, mate. So
I don't know.
I'm asking for
I read
superior knowledge here.
University.
All right.
I haven't heard of Bentancur for like 3 years. He's had a good World Cup with Uruguay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they good additions for the squad, do you reckon, or will they be going into the first 11, or do you think they're just squad players?
First 11, I could be better than Ndombele and no steak so.
No steak who?
So
Oh, no steak. So. Oh, no. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Yeah, like I said, I'm sober, so I'm a bit slow tonight. Yeah.
The whisper on that one is Lo Celso to Leon, which is very interesting. That's a real step down for him.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, guys?
There was some other club in for him, wasn't there?
Valencia like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, or was it Seville where we were looking at who was the centre back? Carlos, someone who
The
was
Jackal.
linked with Newcastle, but we were
Carlos
talking
the
about
Jackal, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Carlos
He'd be
the
good up
Jackal.
front, man. Proper hitman, that guy.
Yeah. You better watch out, mate. You're messing with powers you don't know anything about.
Have you read that book, by the way, Carlos the Jackal? I know it was a movie as well. The movie was awful, but the book is so fucking intriguing, man. It's how he got away with that shit was crazy. Educated in Venezuela, ended up in Russia, total communist, terrorized. It was in France, I think, in the 70s. Carlos, I forget his surname now, but yeah, geez, I'd love to sign him now.
We would have got him, but Levy offered too little, too late.
Yeah, as usual, yeah. Carlos Santander, thank you, celery, you horrible vegetable.
Sorry.
Carlos Santander, the Jackal.
Nice.
Okay. Angel Matos, a rich guy walks into the pub at 10 p.m., offers every woman 70% of their tab if they'll go home with him, leaves, returns at 1:50 a.m., offers whoever is left 60%. Levy transfer tactics.
Shamusifer is in the house, yeah. Highway to hell, and we carry on cheering on Leinster. So fuck you, Phil.
You can cheer them all on.
Oh, I should guess actually the name. This name's probably Angel Matos, is it? If it's Sort of,
Yeah, it could be.
same sort of Spanish sort of based or something like somewhere around there. Carl Simpson, I swear that the steak song hits. I feel like I'm tripping.
Yeah. Do you know what,
When-
Carl? You weren't the only one.
Yeah.
Steak.
But what I don't understand is it's like nearly February and Alex is still on, obviously like fucking taking mushrooms, and that season is normally October and September. It just makes no sense unless he's freeze dried them or something, man.
It's
Stored
always
them
nice
away
to
in
have a
his
few
cupboard.
mushrooms on your steak. That's all. So everywhere,
Yeah,
somewhere in the world,
it's
it's
crispy
mushroom
mushrooms.
season. Carl said, "I'm not sure if we need to get Alex some help, but with his steak addiction, I think
No.
he's doing fine.
Yeah, I'm
He
fine.
manages his addiction really well."
This is
Right.
going viral. It's going to be chanting the Brighton game. You'd be hearing like 50,000 people chanting it.
You will. Alex steak T-shirts. You need merch, mate. You really do.
You do, definitely. You could do with one of those Lady Gaga dresses. You know, when she went all in the meat, that's what you want. That would be your
Damn
outfit.
right.
Well, just slaughter a pig and just wear its skin.
No. It can't be a pig, can it? Because that won't be
It's gonna be a
steak.
cow. An entire cow.
Oh, yeah, cow.
A rack of beef. Climb into that as a sort of dress. Like, oh, you'll look stunning. Dead cow. Insert yourself into a dead cow and just get into the stadium and serve up.
I'm fucking starving.
dear.
man.
Get a kebab, man. Get a kebab. If you got a local delivery shop, man.
No.
Steakaroo delivering now.
Oh dear.
Alex, sing Cody's version of the steak song there. It's in the chat.
Asia and Cuba
With
says,
the steaks, with the steaks, with the steaks, like Tottingham. Someone else?
Cody sent Dejan Kovacic.
We're pork chops from the lane.
with a steak side,
With
with
a
a steak
steak
side, with a
side.
steak side, Tottenham.
We're just.
Oh dear.
All right.
With a Paxo, with a Paxo stuff inside.
We're the
magic mushrooms.
cider. We're the cider. We're the cider. Somerset.
You can't beat that accent saying cider, because I love your accent, mate.
We do.
Cider, you know.
Cider.
Cider.
Yeah,
Cider.
Diego Carlos. That was the one. Diego Carlos. There was a talk of Lo Celso and him swapping places. So, don't know what that is. I can't remember what Newcastle's price were they were looking at for him. 35, 36 million. I think we'd struggle to get 36 for Lo Celso now, don't you?
Oh, yeah, of
Is that
course.
pence? Is that pence?
9-8.
me or Carl Simpson looks like Regulon?
Hey,
Carl,
No, I don't.
you're a quadruple vision and on mushrooms, Alex. For fuck's sake, man, are you kidding?
but your cupboard quality, sound quality is much better tonight. I miss it when it sounds like you'll go on all fours running around your bedroom floor.
Where's your cat, Alex? Can you stand on your cat again? I love that sound effect.
Wait, what?
When you stand on your cat, man. When you did earlier, the screech. He's lost.
There we
That
go.
one.
I think that's Star Wars as well, isn't it? That's not a cat, that's a Wookiee.
Oh, don't sidetrack me with Star Wars now. You're watching Book of Boba Fett.
We just need a game of guess the
Oh,
impression. In fact, Alex, give us an impression and we'll have to guess what it is. He's thinking of something.
Was it
Oh.
Mr. Bean?
Yeah. It's or one of those early 10
Lloyd.
movies with no sound. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know any. I have to think of some.
You don't know anybody.
You have to think about what they would say.
All right, fair enough. Right, Shamu said, hang on my wall next to sun celery. Hanging on my wall next to sun celery.
Hang on my wall to sun.
Okay.
Yeah, Shamu, mate. What's that mean? Seriously, like.
Are you on the old mushroom tea yourself tonight, mate?
I can't even read it. Hang on.
Is that because you're on the mushroom tea? Is everybody on the mushroom tea tonight? No.
Mushroom.
I miss you too, Alex.
Yeah.
No, it said mushroom.
I know what you fucking said.
What the hell was that? It sounded kind of French or something, didn't it?
Monsieur.
Right.
Oh, you're down to 14, lads. This is fantastic. You peaked at 24.
Well,
This
what's
is
going on? We need some
Yeah, I don't
segment. Why don't you stick your dad jokes in the comments?
Yeah.
See if we can get some
dad
of those
jokes.
going.
I'm not making jokes about my dad.
I burnt my Hawaiian pizza yesterday. I think I should have cooked it on a lower temperature. Yeah. Oh no. Well, just starting off. Come on.
I only know jokes that are politically incorrect, so I'm not going to put your channel in trouble.
I already
So I'll
have.
leave it at that.
Hill. I mean, Stakey Hill.
Brian Hill.
And that's what I call music.
Right.
I have that on vinyl, the original from 1981. Yeah, now that's how I call Music One.
Number
and
one.
I had the first one. I gave it to my nephew, the poor guy. I had Lamar or something, the guy with the mullet. I think he was in a band called Kachigoogoo.
Yeah.
Lamal from Kachigoogoo or
proper
something.
mullet, wasn't it?
He rocked it, man. He rocked it proper, man.
I think
that
I
was
had
a great
the
mullet.
second. I had the second one. I think it had "Sweet Dreams" on it by the Eurythmics. You're like,
I love that track. Yeah.
Oh, UB40 were on the first one as well. And who else? There was another one. Oh fuck, man! I wish I had the fucking tunes in front of me now. Actually, now that Psycho Volume 1 was pretty good when I was 7, but it probably didn't last the time, or so it probably doesn't sound so good now. Shamu will be shaking his boots because he loves AC/DC and punk and shite like that. Not that I call it shite. I love it too, but it's
Cole Simpson saying to Alex needs to release a Steak album. Name those songs.
He's only got one. He's only got one song and one lyric, and
don't go staking my heart. I like that one.
Oh, jeez. Oh no!
Stake my breath away.
Oh dear! I'm not going to come up with any. I'm just going to do David Brent and say, "Oh yeah."
Sir Loyan sleeps tonight.
Oh, that is quality.
Just can't get enough of steak.
Songs by the Ribeye Peas.
Fun to stay at the steak.
Steak Bush, Wuthering Heights.
Hey, don't knock Kate Bush, mate. Kate Bush, Steak Bush, she was fantastic, man, and that song was brilliant.
Steak Bush, yeah.
Steak Bush.
I suppose you get it all on the album, Cal. That's what I call Music One.
Spotify.
Because you're way too sober, mate. Have you got any tunes for us?
Yeah, just be careful. You can't play too much, Alex. That sounds like a proper drummer boy in the background.
Men at Work, isn't it? Oh no, wait a minute. That's that Paul Simon one. Sledgehammer. That sounded like that at the start.
Steak hammer.
Steak hammer.
That Carl Simpson. Carl Simpson. There, I'm looking at in the comments.
Steak.
Steak
Celery
stuff.
on good company then. Absolutely. Steak in the law. Judas Priest. Carl Simpson.
Was it Judas Priest or Judas Priest?
Judas Priest.
As in, like, in the name of the Father, the Holy Son, and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and whatever
Yeah.
the fuck else.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. All right. As you can tell, I'm well versed in Catholicism.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All that stuff. Oh dear. Carl said, I don't, Alex. I'm 39, but I'd take it as long as I can have
Steak on me. Aha. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's furious.
Definitely.
Fantastic.
Thunder
That's
steak,
the
says
winner,
Shamu.
Steak on me.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So I'm going to have to go through some of these. Don't go steak in my heart. Live and let steak. Shamu saying. Let it steak.
Thunder steak.
Steak.
That was a
hammer.
Brian
Yeah,
Johnson tune, though. It wasn't Bon Scott. Man.
So, sweet steak of mine.
Oh yeah, what a tune.
Yeah, Hot Furious has got the steak on me. Steak on me.
Touching steak. Touching steak.
If Alex could do a tune, I might understand something. But my God, Alex,
Steak.
go to some vocal singing lessons, brother.
Never been
Oh.
so steak. So steaks.
Oh, cuz poor Omar Cuz doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Like,
take me down to Steakhouse City.
I'm just trying to think of a fucking steak.
We're on a
Grass is green
highway.
and the chops are pretty.
God Save the Steak by the Steak Pistols.
I like it. I like it.
There's
Oh.
There's 13 people here, and there's 19 likes. Like, what was it?
Some people did like it, but
And then
they
they basically
hate
go,
it.
right, we've liked that, but now I'm out of here.
I'm out of it as quickly as possible.
But isn't the whole goal to drive it down to only 5 people watching, and that being us, right?
And then we know who the hardcore fans are of the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kerrigan's driving home at the moment. The Kerrigan
Steak till I die.
Come on.
I'm steak
Steak.
till I die.
You know I am. I'm sure I am. I'm steak until I die. And people like it and then politely back away. Cody, come on, man. Get the pint of moonshine into you, man.
Yeah, look
Or
at,
the fermented squirrel juice or whatever it is you're drinking in Canada.
I think this sums up the show, doesn't it? Cody.
Yeah.
People liked it and politely left.
back away. Yeah. It's not been a classic so far. Steak Out of Hell. R.I.P. Meatloaf.
Did Meatloaf die?
Meatloaf.
Yeah, he died last week.
Really? Oh, right.
Yeah. Seven,
He was an interesting character. The whole thing was like a stage act that became, something else. I don't know. But, yeah,
And because it's meatloaf, that could be doubly steaky. That reference, couldn't it?
yeah, it's particularly meaty. I like it.
Very true.
Well done.
Yeah, that's how it's cooked.
Well done. Oh, no more.
How many? Just on that, how many records do you reckon Meatloaf sold?
5.
Steak.
5 million, billion, or fucking. He sold huge amounts. People in Ireland loved him.
He was
Just
shot.
saying, in a career span more than 6 decades, he sold over 100 million records worldwide. And he sold 25 million in the US alone.
Well, they were shite.
Jesus.
Hey, Cody, Cody, sorry, Cody's calling me out because I didn't know Meatloaf died. I turn off, I don't watch TV during transfer window, right? Or any TV. I don't want to hear anything about news of any sort like in January, so I just don't turn on TV, man. So that's why I'm out of the loop. I'm not a Meatloaf groupie or fanboy, you know. So apologies. I hope I didn't offend you there. I know, Cody. Sorry, I'm reading comments in this.
Oh, when
Spirit's
the
not gonna
States go
take it.
marching in, I wanna be in the States. Oh, when the States go marching in. Oh, when
You want to be in your steak. I hate to see what form of masturbation you do.
didn't mean it that way. I mean on the football pitch.
All right.
Oh, so you wouldn't want to be in a cow, but you quite happily do it on the pitch. Just take
It's
my
new
breath
kit.
away.
It's
Do you have sheep where you are, Alex? Apparently they're a lot more responsive.
Cody's comment. Aaron says Meatloaf was an interesting character. Could not have been too interesting if you didn't know he died, for fuck's sake. Oh dear. True.
Just to clarify, Aaron, he did follow it up. Aaron, I am teasing.
Yeah, he's not.
Oh,
dead.
no, I know. Of course, Cody's always on the wind-up, man.
Yeah.
Shamu saying I saw Meatloaf at the NRL Grand Final, early 2000s.
Who saw what? Shamu saw Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shamu, don't admit that, for fuck's sake, man. I saw Guns N' Roses live and Pearl Jam and proper bands, man. Meatloaf, come on, Shamu, you're letting me down now. I thought you were hardcore.
What were Guns N' Roses like?
I was 17 and I my mate had a little kind of a kiosk, so we were able to get in and we were selling sweets and stuff, and I was selling something else, and so I made a killing. And it was, great gig, really good. But I was kind of far away because the kiosk was at the back. But I made a lot of people happy that day.
Wow. I saw Madness.
You saw Madness? Oh, I would love to. Yeah. Oh, wow.
But it was a bit rank, man, because it was in Finsbury Park.
Right.
Enemy territory.
There you go, Kieran. It's in the link, mate.
I saw Stranglers about 10 years ago. I think they had 3 of the original lineup, and I enjoyed that. They played in Dublin, and me and a couple of my mates went, and it was a good night out, man. I love the Stranglers, grew up on them, you know. So,
and I've had a drink with Buster Bloodvessel out of
Bad Manners. He was a character and a half.
Yeah. Well, when he used to come to my town and play the nightclub, they used to stay in a pub up the road from me. You could go up there on the Sunday and have a pint with him.
Wow.
Nice,
Evening,
nice.
Curry.
Did you ever see the specials? Did you ever see the specials, Cuz?
No, I never have. No,
I'd love to see
them.
Yeah,
good evening, gentlemen of the panel. It is a absolutely frigid night here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, and I've just poured myself. And I've just poured myself my first glass of this Russell's Reserve rye whiskey, 6 years old, and I have to say it's positively delicious.
Nice.
You're gonna have to catch up, mate. Naked in one. Get it down.
The whole time zones got me on the back foot. I just got home, so
yeah, fucking hell. I've been out since 4 o'clock.
I thought you'd drink it all. Drink.
So, Mark, you've been out since 4 o'clock.
I don't think you're making
the
the
lash
whole
since 4. Whoa, get in there, Mark.
Kerry, in your Appalachia region, should you not be drinking like kind of bootleg moonshine?
Yeah, no, moonshine's not really my thing. This is also bourbon and rye country, so that still fits with the local area. I prefer bourbon, rye, Irish whiskey, but not a huge fan of the shine. No, it's a bit much for me.
Okay, yeah, I thought. Trust me, I don't drink poitín, which is like the Irish version of it. I wouldn't fucking. If I smell it, I'll be out of my head. It's that strong. So are you Hatfield or a McCoy, Kieran? Are you Hatfield or a McCoy?
Well, that's West Virginia. I live in just Virginia. So, I guess neither. But if I had to support, I'd probably support. I can't remember which one was with the Union, but I'd support them because, obvious reasons.
So you're up for Kevin Costner then, yeah? Didn't he play?
I don't mind a Kevin Costner movie every now and then. I did watch that series, but I feel like I think it was the McCoys who were Union. The Hatfields were former Confederates.
Okay. Yeah, if I what I'm reading at the moment? I got it was something I used to watch as a kid. Obviously Mark Twain, Huckleberry Finn. So I was just flicking around. Yeah, and I was just remembering that love and laughter in days on the river, blah 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 blah, whatever. Anyway, the song was. But I was flicking through my Kindle there, and it was one of the free books. Was Mark Twain, The Adventures of Huck Finn. So I'm reading at the moment. My God, is that racist? Great read, but I mean, it's pretty fucking controversial. I'd say, these days.
For sure, that's one of the first books I ever read. My dad's actually from Alabama, which is close to the area, the Mississippi Delta, where that all takes place. So yeah, that's one of the first books I ever read growing up. Real books, anyway. Obviously, after you get through the kiddie books phase, when you get into actual novels. But yeah,
Alex still likes kiddie books. He's reading Thomas the Tank Engine or something like that at the moment, and what's the other one with the little car that can speak?
Are you sure it's not like Stuart the Steak Engine or something?
Yeah, it's steak inside a train. They've got a whole recipe. They've got a recipe.
Recipes for children.
What do you?
No, I've got a recipe of cooking steak. Like medium rare, uncooked.
How to make popcorn.
Nah, unless it's been deep fried in steak fat, then no.
Ooh, nice. That sounds good. Popcorn, deep popcorn made in steak fat. Here's an interesting experiment. I'll have to check out.
Yeah.
So
I'm always blowing things up in my kitchen. Sorry, Kieran.
I don't know about you guys, but I know you touched on it a little bit. But man, like if this Kuliszewski transfer goes through, I think he's going to be a baller. Honestly, I've been high on this guy for a couple of years now. I think he's got all the attributes to be excellent, not just as a player in general, but specifically in Conte's system in this Spurs team. I mean, I think if we get him, that's our Eriksen replacement right there.
Yeah, possibly more. I'd say he's got a lot more goals in him than Eriksen had.
I think he's our Ali replacement, if anything, because he's a second striker or play on the right wing.
I think so. I think his best position is on the right wing, but more of like a Matsala, a half winger. Matty Hayes was talking about it on his channel, and that's kind of how Lucas has been playing on the right side of our front three anyway. So I think it makes a lot of sense for him to just slot right in that role and provide a lot more than Lucas has. He can create, he can score goals, he works hard in defense, he's an excellent presser. I think in general he adds so much to the team. I'm really excited if this does happen. So
exciting player, that's for sure.
Would you class him as better than that Lewis, whoever it was we were linked with earlier in the week? Can't think of the guy's name.
Well, they're different players, right? Luis Diaz is more of a straight up left wing, cut inside, get on his right foot, shoot and score. It's like he's a much watered down version of Sonny. He does what Sonny does, just not quite as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but I think there's Kuliszewski for one is 21 or 22.
21, I think.
So that fits the mold for Tottenham even better, doesn't it?
Exactly, and he's been playing top flight football since he was like 18. So as where Luis Diaz, he's the best player in the Portuguese league, which is probably the 5th or 6th depending on who you ask, best league in European football. But he's just a straight goal scorer. He's a very one-dimensional player. He's fast, he can dribble, he can shoot. That's it. As where this guy is so well-rounded and just so useful in every phase of the game. Does everything you want a forward to possibly do. It's a whole different kettle of fish.
Him, then? Are they just excessive numbers and they just need to clear the decks for some other players coming in?
I would say that for sure, because as we know, the Italian clubs are in a terrible financial state. They've got a lot of big wages on their wage budget. We do know as well that there's the ongoing legal investigations over Juventus transfers, so it would be good for them to stump up cash, if not to pay the lawyers, at least to have something liquid in reserve in the case that Serie A comes down, or the Italian FA, whichever comes down hard on them and relegates them, because that's a possibility. It wouldn't be the first time that's happened to Juventus. So I think there's that. I think there's also that Allegri is honestly, in my opinion, an overrated manager. He's good in Italy, but it's not hard to be good in Italy when you're managing Juventus. I think his tactics are outdated and boring. I think the players he tends to choose, I think one of the big things as well is that Kulusevski is, primarily in that right wing position, and who do Juventus have currently starting? Federico Chiesa, one of the best players in world football at the moment. So, if anything, it makes it, in my opinion, because I've heard a lot of talk about, this looks like Paratici going and picking up Juventus's garbage to bring us something to keep us happy. Honestly, the way I see it, at least for Kulusevski, I'm not totally sold on Bentancur yet, but I am getting more interested. But in terms of Kulusevski, I think it's good for all parties. Everybody involved walks away with something positive, in my opinion.
So, did you say earlier, Koo, that we are looking? It's a loan deal for now, but then there's money to buy him later, or
what was reported is it's a £5 million loan deal at the moment, and then obligation to buy for 35 million extra if we qualify for the Champions League.
That's 90 million with Romero and Kulusevski for next season already in the bin.
Well, I was just going to say that, Alex. So let's say this summer we're given 150 million. Of that 150 million, does the Romero and this guy's money come out of that budget, or does it come out of previous budget or accounting?
I don't think so, because if you count Romero for this coming summer, then our net spend for last summer's transfer window was almost nothing.
Yeah.
Because, what was it? 25 plus Eric Lamela for Brian Heel, which ends up being net less than 25 because Eric Lamela's wages are much higher than Brian Heel's. And then Pape Matar, I don't even know. I don't know how much did we?
15.
About 15. Okay, yeah. So let's say 20, 15, 35, and then who else did we bring in? Emerson. That was what, about 30 million?
Yeah,
20.
25. I thought
25. So you're still talking under 100 million for the entire window. So
I just before I went out tonight, I don't know if anyone else heard this, but there was a Twitter feed and there was a whole heap of people on there talking transfers and stuff. And basically at one point they were like, "Oh, Steve Hitchens coming on," which I found really weird. And I don't know if it was them just winding us up, but they were also talking about the fact that it was Steve Hitchen that went and got this Papa Sarr, and Paratici had nothing to do with it. So you're like, ooh. But I don't know, because you don't know how genuine it was, but it just didn't sound quite right. Because for me, I'm struggling to find a decent signing from Steve Hitchen.
I think he's just used to using no money at all and just buying as many young players as possible. That's what he's done under Poch.
Wasn't there also that guy we brought? I'm forgetting his name. but we brought in somebody specifically to identify youth prospects. We brought in a scout who's highly rated to specifically
Yeah, that's
identify
right.
youth prospects. I forgot his name, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that person, whatever the guy's name, I can't believe I'm forgetting it now. Whoever that was, probably identified the player, and Steve Hitchen was just the guy who got on the plane and went out to France to make the deal. One thing I am a little worried about is, I wonder. Obviously we did some business in Spain last summer, and that's good and all. I wonder if Paratici will rely too much on his connections in Italy. And
is it Darren Johnson?
It could well be. That sounds familiar.
Martin.
I'm not.
The only other name I can see is a guy called Martin Taylor.
No, I think it's Darren, the former. I think it was Darren Johnson. Now I can't flick through my internet because every time I turn off StreamYard, it just my signal drops out here. But I think it was the first fella you said there, Darren Johnson, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
wonder. I'm scared to go looking at me. Every time I open up WhatsApp or something, my connection dies. What?
What's that, Alex?
Did Alex just scream out, "Ma, I'm stuck in the closet"?
No, I just screamed because you said you were scared.
Who's scared? I'm scared of you, Alex.
I can't remember the guy's name, but David and Jack mentioned him on the Irish Hotspur last week. But I'm blanking. Either way, I mean, I don't know about the whole Pape Matar Sarr deal. I don't know how well that's going to go out. My big issue is I don't want us going and buying players when they're that age, because we should be producing those players in our academy. And not only that, but once we buy these players, any time they spend in Tottenham's development squad is wasted time where they're not developing. And we know that because over the last few years, there have been a serious lack, other than Ollie Skip and Tanganga, there haven't been many players breaking through from the under-23s into the Premier League squad. I feel like a lot of players' development is stunted. I've heard a lot of things. Stell will talk about it sometimes, about how Tottenham's academy doesn't train players to specific positions, and they don't get given a position.
That comment this week.
Yeah, that they don't get given a position till they're like 18 or 19. I mean, that's just insane to me. That is insane. When you've got kids coming out of like South America who already have a defined position, and then they go to like La Masia or some other big, academy, and they just further hone their craft till by the time they're in their 20s, they're experts at playing in a specific area and have defined traits that benefit them in that position. And meanwhile at Spurs, they're just like, oh yeah, let's just, wing it. We'll throw you in this position and that position. I mean, I vaguely understand the concept of creating well-rounded players, but ultimately, like, the earlier you can find a player's archetype and then fit them into a position, the better I think they have a chance of actually excelling in their career. And I think it's a huge mistake on the part of Tottenham's academy and the development side of things, and bringing in these players to just not be developed towards their individual skills, and then to be sent on loan to random Championship and League One squads. I mean, it's not working, and it's not helpful, it's really just throwing money away at this point.
It's so frustrating.
When I went to the last game, Graham Roberts was saying exactly that. He did a talk in the Spurs shop and was very much, he's like, we keep going out buying all these players for the future, and he's like, but we've got the bloody youth academy. He's like, why are we doing it?
It doesn't make sense. And if we're going to get these players from the future, we should be identifying them when they're 12, 13, 14 years old. I mean, sure, go out and get young. Sure, go out and
We
get young talents, but get them while they're still kids, and then bring them into the academy. Don't sign them to professional contracts when they're 19.
We had two lads, right? And I'm just going to pick out two Irish lads here. Terry Dixon, a few years back, who was, the next Wayne Rooney, the Irish Wayne Rooney. Troy Parrott, right now. I'm just thinking out two Irish boys there that came through the academy, and we all had all these high hopes for them, and they amounted to muck. And then we have guys like Kyle Walker-Peters or Mark Ende, who we all kind of, could see their ability and their future potential, who they sold. So, like, our academy, I don't know what it's all about. It doesn't seem to be. It's supposed to be one of the greatest academies, great training facilities, and all this, but we're not producing anything out of it, really. I mean, Tanganga, okay, fair enough, potential, but he's
Skip.
Skip's probably an exception. Just in recent years, mate.
And the thing is, like, I think Skip, one of the reasons why he's broken through is because of the type of player he is. He's an all-action midfielder, which means that the type of development Tottenham does and not specializing players wouldn't affect his general development path because he's already a well-rounded player. That's just his skill set, is that he's good in multiple areas of the game. So, I mean, I can see why somebody like him broke through. But, where are the strikers? Where are the center backs? Where are the goalkeepers that should be breaking through over the last few years? We're not seeing that. We're seeing Tanganga, who, what position does he even play? Because he's not technical enough to play a right back and a back four. He's not fast enough, can't cross well enough to play a right wing back. And, he's not defensively aware enough to play as a center back. So where do we play him?
He's a right centre back in a back five.
In a back three.
But he's played in that position and he's been awful. So,
but
I mean, honestly, his best ever performance in a Spurs shirt was at left back against Liverpool in his pro debut. Like, was
he not a right back on that game?
The Man City game.
No, he played left back. Well, he was good in that game. But I mean, he was playing right back in a back four in Nuno's side, where the fullbacks were not advancing up the pitch whatsoever. Where it was just essentially a flat back four, nothing in the midfield, and then everybody clustering up in the final third, waiting for the long balls to come in. That guy's tactics were garbage. Sorry.
No, sorry. You don't say sorry here, mate.
When was the last time we actually had a goalkeeper who played in goal from the youth academy?
Didn't we let a potentially good goalie go as well in the summer, didn't we? Who looked good in the pre-seasons.
Oh, he's on loan. We'll get him back. He's just on loan in
Whiteman, Alfie
Sweden
Whiteman,
or Norway or something.
Yeah, he looked really good pre-season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played one Champions League game because Lloris got sent off.
Yeah, he's on loan in like Sweden or Norway or something. I heard he was doing really well. So
yeah, I'd heard that. Is that what? I think it's the guy Whiteman, isn't it? Alfie Whiteman.
Yeah, that's one of them. There's another one.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him in preseason because all the pictures I'd ever seen of him, he had a buzz cut, and then in preseason he was wearing the like long hair, half up, half down, which is like the same hairstyle I wear. So I was immediately like, "Oh, wait, who's this guy?"
It's a clone of you.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
He needed a bun, man. He needed Danny the bun. Then we would have recognized him.
Unfortunately.
But I mean, you put so much money into your academy, and you're trying to pick up and get the best, players in the area involved, and we're just not producing. I understand people are saying Skip, Winks, Kane, but how many players that we hyped up come through our youth system?
Yeah,
honestly, I've never made the grade.
I'm sorry, but the problem is the coaches. They aren't. I mean, this is. The only way this happens is if the coaches and the people in charge of development at the club are just not high profile good coaches, good good scouts, good, the people with lots of experience and various areas of the game. And also, there's the problem that we don't have a footballing identity. The places with the best academies, Barcelona, Ajax, Dortmund, to some
Chelsea.
degree, Chelsea.
City.
Well, Chelsea doesn't really have an identity either.
No, but they're
Chelsea's
youth,
academy is great because they have fuckloads of money and they can suck up all the youth players and they can pay the best coaches. But I feel like the really best academies in the world, the ones that produce the top players, are like I said, Barcelona, Ajax, Dortmund, to some degree now the RB setup. These are the best, and they all have footballing identities at those clubs. Whether it's Barcelona with the tiki-taka possession, slow build-up football, whether it's Ajax with the high pressing, intense style, and the 4-3-3, the RB setup with the counter pressing. All of these places have footballing identities that you see at every level of the game, from the youth academies all the way up to the professional team, first team, and that's what Spurs really lack. I don't think you can have a truly successful academy that also impacts your first team without having a footballing identity that is instilled in the club and is instilled in the players from a very young age. That as soon as they're old enough to be able to start really grasping tactics, that's when it needs to start, and it needs to continue all the way through. But Tottenham, we don't have that. Under Levy's ownership, we've chopped and changed managers. I mean, we talk about it all the time. All the different managers we've had with all their different playing styles, where you've had conservative, pragmatic guys like Jose and Nuno and AVB, or you've had the gung-ho attacking, high-pressing managers like Harry Redknapp and Mauricio Pochettino, and to some degree Martin Jol. There's been no consistency, and now we have Antonio Conte, who I'd say exists. So when he has the players he needs, exists somewhere in the middle. I think his style is very balanced, But the point is, we don't have an identity. They keep talking about the Tottenham way. I mean, what is the Tottenham way now? I know what it used to be.
We talk about that a lot on here, and it's like, what is the Tottenham way now? I know what the Tottenham way was 70 years ago, but at the moment, what the Tottenham way feels is that we'll go out and make some signings. They'll be all right for the next 18 months until the next manager comes along, when we completely and utterly change our philosophy.
But they're not really signings. They're last-minute purchases. That's the thing. They're like, it's like push the button on the final day of the window and get the best deal you can. They're not signings that have been thought about, for months and months and months. They're not players that they're buying to bring in to suit a certain system. They're players that we're signing to appease fans, I almost think. Just say, oh, look, we made a couple of purchases. And, and again, we've talked about the research on Ndombele and how people didn't assess the psychological state and his, the issues that he was going to bring with him. There's just a lack of organisation throughout the club, and it seems very disjointed now. And I have no faith with Levy in charge. People say, well, with Paratici now, or Paratici, or whatever you want to say. But has anything changed? Like, for me, it hasn't. It's still last minute. Let's go for this guy. Let's go for that guy and hope it works out. Brian Hill signings. Who, to me, another one, Brian Hill. Brought in, played a couple of games, loaned out, and Levy's going to probably, if he does well, make a profit on the guy. And we'll never see him play in a Spurs jersey again. So I don't know. There's no direction for me.
Have you got any faith in Brian Hill?
I've got faith that we're going to sell him and make a profit, and that's it.
I think he's got a lot of talent as a player, and I think he'll go on to have a great career. But depending on how things go with like Conte, if Conte stays for multiple years, or whatever manager we get after that, I think there's a high probability he gets sold, because I just don't see where he fits in.
And that seems to be our problem, doesn't it? It's like we're not really investing to make us winners. We're investing in investments to make us more profitable, more wealthy, whatever it is.
But But ultimately, Phil, that's failing too. That's the thing, and that's why like even Sean, who is a very financially reasonable guy, like he doesn't defend Levy's transfer business because you can't. Because even if the plan is to like get these players to sell them on for big profits, we're failing to do that. We sold Christian Eriksen for like 15 million pounds. I mean, are you serious? He was an excellent Premier League player. We sold him for 15 million pounds. I mean, we can go all night. We know the guys, we know the numbers, but like it's any way you look at it, there is no strategy. It's just winging it all the time because he loves the art of the deal or something.
I can't remember who said it earlier. It might even have been Sean, but he was saying, when we decided we were going to build the stadium, it's like you do your budget, you go and do all the right bits so that everything gets delivered, and ultimately they did deliver that stadium. But when it comes to the squad, we don't seem to do that. You wouldn't suddenly go, well, let's apply for planning. Let's see if we can get another 20,000 seats in. We don't know how much it's going to cost us. 10 million, so we'll bid 4 million. It just that there's always business-wise, there's always a plan, but football-wise, it doesn't feel that there's.
And that falls on one man. We all know that.
And
because he just doesn't know the first thing about football. I mean, if you needed any proof, you just watch the documentary, and it's absolutely obvious the dude is completely clueless about the game of football. He doesn't understand the sport at all, and he just likes the money, and he likes the fame and the clout. Not so much the fame in terms of the attention, but just the fact that his name carries weight, the power. He's in it for all that, and that's fine. But please just hire fucking people to make these decisions for you, since you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. That's my biggest thing. Like, I hate the guy. Ultimately I want the guy to leave. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
sorry, that's Alex. Alex and his pet robot.
No, I know Alex. I dig it. I like it. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'd like the guy to leave, but ultimately, if he would just stay the fuck out of the football shit and just hire people to do it for him that are competent and get some kind of plan going at this club, some kind of footballing identity and some consistent, decision making, then I'd be fine with that. And I don't think bringing Paratici in was the only part of that. Like, he can be a piece of that puzzle, but we need, people in place at the academy, in the development side of things, and we need to have some kind of coherent philosophy of football. If we're not going to be a club that spends a bunch of money.
Just on that, how bad a combination is it where you've got a director of football that's basically lining up 10 people for any one position, and then what he does is he hands over the negotiating to the tightest arse in football? Surely that makes us like, if I'm a selling club, I would literally be like, what is the point of dealing with Tottenham Hotspur? What is the point? It's just, when it's like, it's just too much hassle. So is that a bad combination?
Of course it is. I mean, having I don't know if it was their director of football or their owner or their president, whatever. I feel like somebody from Southampton said as much, that they hate dealing with us. They don't want to deal with us anymore. We've screwed them over on several deals. There are a lot of Daniel Levy's notorious across European football for being an absolute pain in the ass to deal with. And there are some people who do refuse to deal with him. There are some clubs we don't have access to because of his negotiation style. And I think Paratici, honestly, his negotiation style isn't all that different. I mean, I think given the funds, he wouldn't lowball as much as Levy had when he had control. But if he's working on a limited budget, he's going to act in the same fashion. I just wanted to say, Hot Spurious, he's a kid. I think you're referring to Jaffa Tanganga. I just want to say, I'm a massive fan of Jaffa Tanganga, actually. I think he's awesome. I love his personality. I love the way he plays, the intensity and physicality he plays with. I think he has immense promise, but I think he's been failed by the club in his development. And I would say the same about a player like Harry Winks as well, that he had a lot and continues to have in some areas a lot of potential, but because of the way the development works at the club, his path into the first team, and once he was in the first team, has the path he's been forced to take because of circumstance and because of the way we do things. It's harmed his career and harmed him as a player. And I'd say the same, of Jaffa Tanganga and several other people,
Okay. I'm going to say big up to Sean. Thank you for joining us, Sean. How are you?
Hey, Sean.
How are you, future brother?
This may look like it's a glass of water
vodka,
late night,
but we know.
Allow it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a good night to be a positive Tottenham fan when we go and sign. Oh, not just one superstar, but two future superstars. It's a time to celebrate. I can't wait for them to be confirmed. Tottenham are going to finish top 4. I've got bets left and right with people about where we're going to finish and whether we signed anybody. It's a good night. It's a good night for me. How's everybody else doing?
Sean, you said future. Again, you're saying potentially good players for the future. Man.
No.
Aaron.
Kulusevski
Nice to meet
is
you,
the
buddy.
truth.
Kulusevski is the powerhouse. Listen.
He's going to be a great player.
Check the tape,
I promise you, Aaron, he'll be a great player.
All the way back in early December, I was saying this guy's going to be he's the next Kevin De Bruyne. He's an absolute worldie superstar. I was saying it all the way through the Christmas period and January. I didn't want Diaz. I wanted this guy. By hook or by crook, whether Diaz fell through, whatever happened, if we get in this guy, he's going to change everything for Tottenham. He's amazing.
He's not a superstar yet, Cody, but he will be. He's got everything. He's got everything, and he's coming into a team that is literally set up to play the style of football he would excel at most. Everything is falling in line with that transfer. Bentancur, I will say, looks very promising. I'm not ready to go future superstar with him yet, but Kulusevski for sure is the truth, man. He's the truth. I've been big on this guy for 2 years.
Carrion, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can you smell a little bit of retreat from certain Levy outers who are like trying to neg on the news because it diminishes their argument a little bit?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You just have to be consistent, right? You just have to apply things consistently. And if you're going to be skeptical,
drink more of your wine, Sean, for feck's sake, man. Come on.
You're always gonna lose, no matter what.
It's okay. Let him have his moment. Let him have his moment. In my mind, I feel like if you're going to be skeptical about whether the transfer goes through or not, I think you should be, because I still am. I'm not 100% on it yet. The news looks very, very good, and I'm very excited. But there's still a part of me that's held back. Like, I can't get too excited because this might not happen. But I will say, if it does for Kulusevski, he's the truth. And to try and knock him down because it doesn't fit with the Levy out thing doesn't make sense, because Levy out is the right way to be because it's based on facts and evidence, and so you should be consistent with facts and evidence. Okay, well, it depends on what you mean. It depends on what you mean.
My argument is stronger than ever. If we get these two people in, my argument is stronger than ever.
I don't think so. I don't think it works that way.
No, your argument is postponed until the end of the season. That's all. Because we can't. Well, we are not able to judge these guys yet. They haven't kicked the ball in the Premier League. So, you know,
Sean,
we've seen it all before.
Sean, this would be the first good footballing decision in a long time from this club in terms of transfer window activity. So I don't think it adds to your argument.
I agree.
But at the same time,
my Levy not out debate is not based on the transfer policy. It's based on
and I know that. I know that as well. So yes, but I will say though, you know, you just got to be consistent with things, right? If this goes through, this looks good for Paratici, and it looks good for Levy for hiring Paratici, but it would be the first of many that need to happen, and it doesn't, you know, and it doesn't, you know, completely fix the mistakes that were made in hiring Nuno and also the transfer window last summer.
Correct.
You know, although I still think Romero will be one of the Premier League's best center backs by the end of next season, for sure. I think he'll be right up there with Van Dijk and Diaz and everybody else. I think he's really that good. As long as he can recover well from this injury, I think he's going to be world class. And I think that Kulusevski will be right behind him as well.
I'm winding everybody up. I'm just having a little moment to gloat because it's been a really tough week for me as the other side of the debate.
No, you do. Have it, man. I'm not trying to water it down.
No.
Sorry.
Kerry, I agree with everything you say. It doesn't diminish all of the things that have happened in the transfer window until now. It doesn't diminish, you know, a lot of the mistakes that are made. I've never been a defender of Daniel Levy's transfer policy. I've been a defender
I know.
of everything
I
else.
actually just said that before you came on. I mentioned you, and I said that,
did you?
You know.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I literally said that, you know, even Sean, you know, who's very much, you know, focused on the financial side of things and highlights the good things that Levy has done on that side of things. Even he doesn't defend the transfer policy, you know,
because policy sucks.
Exactly. I've watched enough.
Sean, you're suffering from premature ejaculation here. Okay?
No. Maybe, mate.
Honestly,
fuck, man. If I wake up tomorrow morning and like the plane crashed on the way to London for the medical or something, I'm gonna have to eat my words in a horribly, very, very sickening way. But right now, because I've had a few drinks tonight, and I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating a little bit because I feel like I've. It's been a tough 4 or 5 days.
You celebrating the fact it's 29 days too late?
No, well, I'm just drinking because it's Saturday night. But you know,
what are you having? What are you having?
I'm only drinking because I have to come on this show, mate. I was having a sober.
Yeah, let's go around. What's everybody having tonight? I want to know.
I got 7-Up free, 7-Up, a diet 7-Up with a bottle of vodka.
I was going to say quadruple
81.
vodka.
But I'm only this much.
I work in a liquor store, so I like this stuff.
Nice.
Anybody else?
I'm just.
Aaron, what do you have, Aaron?
I'm on very boring, just a few pints of Heineken, but I know what Alex is on. He's on magic mushroom juice. So he's knocking us all out of the park here.
Who's got the Levy picture? Is that Alex? Is it?
Yeah. Do you not see what's underneath it?
I can't read it, mate. It's too small.
Okay.
Don't show us your bollocks for fuck's sake, Alex.
Alex, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to bring you on the other night, mate.
Okay.
What you got there, Kuva?
Rum and Coke for me.
What kind of rum?
Just dark navy rum.
You're not on the other one. What was the Jaffa Cake rum? No, that one you had last time.
He's finished that bottle. He finished that bottle last night.
That bottle's gone, unfortunately.
Jaffa Cake rum. What the hell kind of drink is that?
And you, Phil?
It's made by Tanganga.
Kuva hides how much. I'm open about how much I drink. Kuva only acknowledges that he drinks when I'm on his late night show, but really he drinks all the time with me. He's always got that little dark liquid in that pint glass.
Nonsense.
I think Kuva smokes Jaffa cakes as well as drinks it, mate. You know.
Anything for you tonight, Phil?
No. I've, in honor of Sean, I've had my Pepsi Max lime flavored.
Yeah. Oh my
You're such a liar, Phil.
That's the one I started earlier. So
I don't think they sell that over here anymore.
Do you? Wow. Do you drink one of those every day?
Not far off, yeah.
See, I've been figuring out because I drink about 4 or 5 of these a day, whether there's alcohol attached or not. And it's awful for it. It's terrible for me, right? It's worse than drinking vodka.
I don't go near sugar drinks, lads. Like apart from beer, I know there's sugar in beer,
but I think that you'd be better off drinking full fat Coke than sugar-free Coke, right?
I drink Robinson's lemon barley water. That's nice.
Yeah.
Does the Pepsi Max thing? Are you allowed to drink sugar-free?
Yeah, because there's no sugar in it. There's literally nothing in it.
There's fake sugar, right? Like, does it not? Does that not fuck up your insulin levels?
There's literally no sugar in any of. It's the same as diet, but it tastes nice. So it tastes closer to the original. But yeah.
No, but you have aspartame, right? And you have all the other kind of like fake sugars. Does that not fuck up your
bad,
insulin?
But it doesn't affect. I don't think it affects the body in the same way.
I think it increases cancer. I think that's
in the brain. Yeah, I think you're
right.
Alex.
There are a lot of things that can give you cancer of the brain.
Everything gives you cancer.
Cell phone can give you that.
Like, Too much masturbation gives you cancer as well, apparently.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's the Catholic Church preaching from 40 years ago, mate. Don't worry, it didn't stop me masturbating.
That's what I was going to say. That
sounds like. What's been the chat this evening? Has it been fun? Has it been topical?
It started off absolutely ballistic.
Yeah.
Now it's coming back
and
up
then
again.
I came in and I came
No. You
made everything boring and
it's gone up a notch since Sean and Kerry joined. So yeah. In fairness, we were just talking about
I went really long.
Mad stuff before.
There you go. Question for Kerry. You still wanting Harry Kane gone?
No,
I thought that said
obviously
wanking.
he wants to be here now. But my whole thing was, if Nuno's going to be the coach and Harry Kane doesn't want to be here and play for Nuno and play for Tottenham, then I don't want him to be here. Not just for Spurs, but for Harry Kane. But if Conte's here and Harry Kane is wanting to play for Spurs and wanting to be here and enjoying his football, then absolutely I want Harry Kane here. That's the whole thing. It's like the only thing worse than no Harry Kane is a bad, upset Harry Kane. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people don't realize this, but in sport, it's better to just offload a player if he's unhappy and doesn't want to be at your club than to keep him and hope that you can turn it around. And so that I think it's the practical decision, especially if you can get a large transfer fee for him, which we could have. You know, we could have brought somebody in who obviously won't be as good as Harry Kane, but could have provided, a lot of goals to the team and enough of goals to where Son could make a difference.
If you had last summer again and you knew you could sell Kane but pick up Vlahovic, what you know now, would you take that deal?
Ask the question again.
I wasn't.
Sorry, Sean. I was going to say the question was: if you knew last summer you could have sold Kane and picked up Vlahovic, would you have taken the deal?
If I knew that Vlahovic was going to have the season that he has had this season, because the thing is, last summer Vlahovic was a guy who had one brilliant season, but now he's a guy who's had 2 brilliant seasons in Serie A, because honestly, if he had left Serie A to go to a club in a different league, the goal tally he would leave on was still a good goal tally for an entire season. So, I think if I knew he was going to be as good as he is, then yeah, I would have taken it. At the time, knowing Nuno would be the manager and not knowing that Conte would come in, but if I did know that Vlahovic was going to be that good, sure. But if I knew everything and I knew that Conte was going to come in and turn it all around, hell no, I wouldn't sell Harry Kane. And I wouldn't sell him now. Absolutely not. It's all about players' mentality, and nothing brings down a team like having your star player upset, unhappy, not wanting to be there. That's every team sport. Whether it's, football, American football, rugby, basketball, it doesn't matter. If your star player is unhappy, not performing, doesn't want to be there, it brings down the entire team.
There you go. Grand.
We've you see the risk is right, and I would hate to lose a talisman like Harry Kane, even if he goes through a bad patch or his attitude's not right for a couple of months. We've taken risk on guys like Sergi Rebrov before, so Roberto Soldado, and that Dutch guy who's playing in Mexico now. You know, all these lads banged in goals in the leagues they were playing in, but they didn't fit in to the Premier League. It didn't work out for them. So I just don't understand why people, you know, might think that getting rid of Kane would have been a good option, by risking bringing in Vlahovic. Again, who was completely. Here's Cody. So let the gentleman take the floor.
Oh, Cody.
Come on, Cody. Start
Cody.
with your 3 famous words.
Cody. Cody.
Sean.
Hi, Cody.
We're the steak side, we're the steak side, we're
Where's
the
he
steak
come
side,
from?
Tottenham.
With a mash side, with a mash side.
Oh.
No, sorry.
Sean,
Hi,
Oh,
Cody.
you're gravy.
you will never be able to gloat about your stance on Daniel Levy. I'm sorry.
I was being more generous than Cody's going
I
to be.
certainly will. I certainly will for at least the next month before his signings turn out to be a shit show. But for right now, I'm doing just fine, thanks, Cody. How are you, my friend?
I'm all good. I'm all good. I'm
Daniel
just struggling to
Levy
understand.
again.
I'm just struggling to understand how you would attribute 2 moves for 2 players from the club that Paratici just left, that is being investigated for suspicious activity while Paratici was there.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would attribute very much credit towards Daniel Levy for 2 of those moves, but you know what? We don't have to go down that rabbit hole.
We can't.
I wanted to make that point earlier,
we
but
can.
I
I
didn't.
already
We
took
can.
it there
Yeah.
earlier. So.
Allow me to at least respond when you make a suggestion and then say we haven't got to go there. You should at least, if you didn't want to go there, you shouldn't have raised it. If you're going to raise it, allow me to at least explain why I can celebrate. The reason why
I didn't realize this was such a sensitive topic for you.
I'm not sensitive. I'm
He's-
celebrating,
he's
bro.
He's debate trained. He's debate trained. You can tell. He's debate. I know it, Sean. I know you probably roam the debate panels by the way you can identify an argument. You know.
No, what? Yeah, I'm a master debater several times a day.
The
Did you say you're a
masturbator.
masturbator? Did you-
Yeah, exactly.
Did you
We
just
all
admit
heard
to that
that.
on-
Clip
Yeah.
that, Cody. Clip that.
Say that faster.
You heard
Master
it for
debater.
a reason. You heard it for a reason. You heard it for a
Right.
reason.
I will
Cody,
look.
Cody,
I'll be overjoyed if we
Cody.
sign players.
Cody. Yeah, well, so, you might be, bro. But you know what? There's a fuck ton of Levy outers tonight who are so sad.
I have to admit that's
and
No,
part of the.
and that's
no,
a
no,
re-
no, no,
yes,
no,
there
that's
are.
bullshit.
Yes, there-
No,
That's
it's not
bullshit.
It's
He's
not
partially-
bullshit.
Don't boost your
partially
own
right.
ego here,
He's
brother.
Hold
No,
on.
he- no,
that's
not
me
ours.
outer, as
You
a
are,
Levy
mate.
outer,
You are. You're.
How am I boosting my ego?
Hold on.
There's a lot of
on.
Levy
Because
outers. There's a
you-
lot of Levy outers that
Hold
are
on,
sad
guys.
tonight.
Let's not.
You think Tottenham fans don't want signings? That's nonsense, Sean.
I think
No
some.
way.
I think some people are have things to do on certain days coming up, and I think some people are sad today because whatever happens tomorrow or Monday undermines their cause. For sure.
You have to think
Bullshit.
about what you're accusing people of here right now, because the way I'm interpreting it, and I'm not accusing you of directing this at me personally, but the way that I'm interpreting what you're saying is you are questioning a certain subsection of fans' dedication to this club.
Yeah. No, I'm suggesting that people position their primary motives. No one wants to admit they're wrong. People don't like admitting they're wrong.
No, but you're manipulating our thoughts here.
Hold up,
You're
Aaron.
manipulating.
Hold up,
You're
Aaron,
manipulating
Aaron,
and putting words in our mouth.
Aaron,
hang on. Just.
I've just
let's
been
show Ellis
I've
bit
just
and
been accused of something. Let me
Go on.
have a.
Go
then-
on.
Go on, Sean.
Go on. Go on. Sean.
I think that some people in life would rather not have to admit that they're wrong rather than doing what's right. Like, I think.
But do you really think so?
Can I finish my point? Can I finish my point?
Sure. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
No. What? Within 6 sentences or 6 words of a sentence? I think that some people, not just in this topic, but on any topic in life, some people get entrenched into certain echo chambers, and certain people have narratives that design or confirm their personas in certain arenas, and then when news comes out that doesn't support that, it's inconvenient and it's disappointing.
Name some of these people. Who are these people?
So can I, as a third, can I, as a Levy outer, who is staunchly Levy out and still Levy out and will be Levy out regardless of whether these signings come through? I have seen on Twitter plenty of people slandering the quality of these players in the sense that they're completely ignoring people who are providing data and statistics that prove that these, but especially Kulusevski, and that's one of the reasons I came on tonight to sing his praises, because I want people to understand this is a very, very good player that we're getting, who's only going to get better. You know, I've seen a lot of people who are Levy out, you know, I think just putting a damper on these signings if they happen, because confirmation bias is a thing. People don't want to acknowledge data that might slightly weaken their argument. That's 100%. The thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I am willing to do that. I am Levy out, and like I said, I will still be Levy out regardless of what happens in this transfer window.
Yep.
You know.
But you seem reasonable, mate. You seem very reasonable.
But I still understand that if these are good signings, that does to some degree look good on Levy, because Paratici signed them, and we got them only because of Paratici and his connection to Juve, and Levy hired Paratici. So obviously it does look somewhat good on him. I'm willing to acknowledge that. It doesn't change my position, because I believe there is still more evidence to say that he needs to go, or at least not at all be involved in anything to do with football at this club.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
all right.
Can I just have a quick?
1 second, Dermot. Just quickly to ask a question. Someone wanted
an
actual name.
So.
Just Dermot. Just me 2 seconds. Someone wanted a name of someone who looks like they are more unhappy than happy about this news. Scott M. in the comments. He's calling me pathetic. He's saying I am Levy out and saying these signings are poor because they're not because of Levy out.
He's not calling you pathetic. He's saying your argument is pathetic.
They're not poor signings, Scott. Kulusevski is a good player.
Scott M is a staunch Levy out.
Just look at all his statistics.
He's upset tonight. He's upset tonight because it
right, can I say my say now?
Let Dermot speak, guys.
I actually disagree with what you say, Sean.
I know you do, Dermot.
I'm Levy out. I'm delighted we're signing 2 players. Over the moon, but I'm still Levy out. You cannot paint us with all the same brush, man.
I didn't.
That is unfair and uncalled for.
I didn't do that. I said some people.
Yeah, but you said all Levy. You just said all Levy.
He said some people who are Levy out, Dermot. He said some people who are Levy out.
To be fair to Scott, I don't think wants bad things to happen to Spurs. He wants the team to be improved. If Scott genuinely believes, from what he knows about these players, that they're not going to improve us beyond a marginal difference, then he's entitled to that opinion. That doesn't mean that he's assuming a position to suit an agenda that he has against Daniel Levy. You know,
I don't think with Scott in particular, I don't think this is the case, because I know Scott enough from reading
Scott wants
trophies.
Scott wants victory. I've chatted to this guy for a year.
Scott has a very high bar for what he considers a good player. He a lot of the players he considers very good, not even elite, but very good, I would consider world-class players. I think he's a little harsh in his judgment of players sometimes, and that's okay, Scott. Like, you know, we all have different, you know, kind of scales by which we assess players to some degree, but I disagree with you wholeheartedly that these are poor signings, especially in the case of Kulusevski, but I think Bentancur can be very good as well.
I mean, I'm over the moon with making 2 signings. Brilliant.
Awesome.
You know, my line went, my my earpiece went really bad, so I was hearing really bad crackling, so I didn't actually hear the proper response. Sorry if I misheard you, Sean, when you said no. It's just that I'm a Levy out, but I'm happy, but I still want Levy out.
That's fine.
And that's how I am, Dermot. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah, but it was a nonsense. Sorry.
No, go on, Aaron.
No, I was just going to say it was a slightly nonsensical argument Sean made there to say that people are unhappy that we're making signings.
Some people are.
Well, who are these some people?
No, I'm not going
to name I've seen people on Twitter
go on Twitter.
Well, I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter.
I don't want to name names because a lot of these people are people I actually like. But, there are people who are kind of really digging at these two players unfairly to my, and in my sense. And I think it's for multiple reasons. I think one reason is that some people like Scott have a very high bar for what they consider players to be good enough for what they want from Spurs. Other people, I think, have just been so caught up in the constant negativity day after day of this transfer window, and at times I have myself, that they can't acknowledge something good possibly happening because they're just so caught in the cycle of the negativity. And then the third option is what Sean... Well, the third option... Sorry, last thing. The third option there, because there's three reasons, is that, I think that what Sean says, there is some degree of confirmation bias on the part of people who are Levy out, who don't want to admit that these signings happening would be very good for the club because it does weaken their argument in their mind. And I, who am Levy out and will be either way, don't think it weakens our argument enough to be worried about it and to not be excited because, in my opinion, we have 20 plus years of evidence. One signing, two signings. It doesn't matter how many in a January transfer window. It's not going to change
Carrion,
our argument against Daniel Levy. So
you've got a wonderful perspective.
Look, I'm staunch Levy out.
Everything you just said, Carrion. Well done, mate.
I'm staunch Levy out, but that does not mean that I don't want us to sign players and have success.
Yeah.
Regardless of who's running our club.
I'm not putting you in that bracket necessarily, Aaron. I'm just saying some people. Right. I'm not going to name names, but you look on Twitter right now. Just look on Twitter. I know you're not on Twitter.
I don't have Twitter. I don't go near that fucking cesspool.
Okay, fine. Yeah, fine.
And you're better off for it, honestly.
There are hundreds and thousands of people.
Twitter is the best.
There are hundreds and hundreds of people right now.
The king of Twitter.
Who are disappointed.
Hey Bob. Great to see you back and bouncing.
Do you know what?
Bob Spur.
Big up Bob.
Sorry, gotta have a big shout out to Bob Spur.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
So pleased you're on the mend, man. It's like,
big up, Bob.
So glad to see you, Bob. Wow.
So I'm sure but the whole community has been, waiting on updates for you and everything, and it's nice to it's just so great to see you back out and about, and on the streams. I know you're still struggling a little bit, but. It makes us all very proud to see you out and about, mate. So, big up to you.
We love you, Bobby. Piss off.
I just want to say tonight's been a good night for Tottenham Hotspur. We've signed in two players, but let's not distract from the fact we've got 21 years of mismanagement on the footballing side to look back on, and we must all still remain united. Doesn't matter if you Levy in or Levy out. We'll all want success for Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah. And that's what should matter. That's what really should matter. It's the club.
And so whenever anything good happens for this club, we need to enjoy it, regardless of what side of the fence we sit on in regards to the chairman. We need to enjoy every great moment, whether it's that, those 2 goals at the end of the Leicester game, or going all the way back to Ajax away, every moment, but even the small ones, like signing promising players that, generally football people agree are good players. We have to appreciate it all because that's what it's all about, right? Loving every moment you can, supporting the club.
Yeah. And I have to big up Sean. He does bring in a different side of the debate as well.
It's appreciated.
And he does bring in the financial side, but some of us don't fully understand But big
Sean.
up Sean as well. And I
Sean.
know
Sean.
Damn it.
Sean.
Sean.
John.
I just want to say, Sean, your channel is brilliant, man. Yeah, I think it's going to do really well if you stick with it. I think the viewer numbers are through the roof. You're getting 70, 80. I think you had over 100 people already, didn't you?
No, well, the 5 hour thing we did the other day was it had 1,000 views, which was like a milestone for me. I think the concurrent views thing is like 90 at the moment, but yeah,
that's still like, you know, what are you sitting on?
275 subscribers or something like that.
So I don't know if I've seen a channel
really
with
cool.
that low a subscribership with that many viewers at any one time. So that is new. That is evidence enough that what you're doing is going to be very good, and just stick with
Thank
it,
you, mate.
because those subscribers are coming, man. They are. And you know what? As much as I disagree with some of what you have to say, is just like a lot of people do. Obviously,
okay.
there's a space for that voice in this realm, and almost a thirst for it. So, because discourse, it's healthy, it's entertaining, and it's thought provoking. So
No,
you
thank
have
you, Cody.
to.
I gotta
keep
be
doing
honest,
what you're
right?
doing.
I really appreciate you saying that, Cody. I love you, man. I'd love you to come on to my show at some point. I know that it's different hours, and sorry to say that on your show, guys. I didn't mean to say that, but what I will say is, I personally, the reason why I'm gloating a little bit tonight, but at the same time, I was on the Irish Hotspur earlier, and for the first hour and a half, like the energy I was putting off pretty I've been sulking a lot the last, because it's looking so bad, and I got this massive debate with like Brian coming up in like 5 or 6 days, and every day that's going by I'm going, oh fucking hell, how am I gonna what chance have I got? And then tonight, the sweet Lord above has thrown me a lifeline. I still think it's going to be very tough to convince people that have got their minds made up. But tonight, I've got like a little bit of a lifeline.
But it's not a lifeline, Sean. It's not a lifeline until we see them do it in the league playing for Tottenham. It's not.
I know. I get that. But the debate is in 5 days.
Till they hold the shirt.
Yeah.
Till they hold the shirt.
Oh, is that what that means? TTHTS. Is that what that means?
Yes.
Yeah.
Till they hold the shirt.
Fair play, boss. But I've seen you put that in the We Are Tottenham TV WhatsApp group a few times, and I've never had the courage to ask, because I feel like I should know. But now I know. The more you know, right? The more you know.
But big up, Bob. You're an inspiration to all of us, sir. And you put up a big fight, and big up Bob Spur. And we can't wait to see you back on TV again. Right, I'm going to piss off myself to sleep, because I was asleep, so I woke up to Sean saying what he said. So that's what made me jump on. Now I'm going back to sleep now.
You know what, Dermot, what I'm going to do, mate, I'm going to record my laugh into an audio file. I'm going to send it across, and I'm going to make you put it as your alarm clock.
And I'm going to book Dermot into a mental institution next week.
Yeah, you might as well.
Not the alarm clock. Hourly charm. Hourly chime.
Yeah. Like Big Ben, it's Big Sean. Ding dong, ding dong. Ding dong.
Just don't do the do. Just don't do the do Danny Kiriakou one, because that's giving us all nightmares at this stage, man.
My God. Sean, you remind me of
Dejan
Kulusevski.
Dejan Kulusevski.
Sean, you remind me of the Joker of the 90s Batman as a kid.
Yeah, I know.
You remind me of that.
I find myself singing the Danny Kiriakou song at work all the time.
It's a nightmare.
It's
a nightmare. I
was in the post office the other day, and I just belted out the Danny Kiriakou song.
Did anyone hear Stelios the other night when he was talking about the Spurs motto, and he was like, "To dare is to do," and then he's like, "Can you imagine if you added that to Danny?" And it's like, "To dare is to do." Danny Kiriakou.
Oh my God!
And it's like, can you imagine if that was on the naming rights for the stadium? To dare is to do. Danny Kiriakou.
Yeah.
That'd be gas.
By the way, guys, I am going to hold my hands up and say I am gloating prematurely, like Hot Spurious is saying in the comments, and I do apologize. I am long of like a decent 7 or 8 shots of vodka, so I'm probably if I have to Apologize.
don't
I'm sorry.
apologize, my friend. Capitalize.
I'm gloating on Twitter right now, man.
You gotta
I'm
seize
shameless.
Your moment. You gotta
I'm
seize your moment.
shameless.
Be like Cody. Be like Cody.
Yeah.
I already got
Cody,
the,
how's
the
the
I already got
beard
the
going?
shirt with the name and the number 44 posted on Twitter. People are gonna wake up to that shit and be like, "What the fuck's going on?" He'll still be in the air circling Heathrow trying to get the last details.
You think Kulusevski's going to wear the 44 jersey?
Well, what else is he gonna wear? Because
17.
I looked at it. What was
I
the
don't think we have a
last player
17.
to wear it was Sissoko, right?
Yeah, 17 was, yeah.
9 is
Bring
available.
back 1 to 11. Bring back 1 to 11.
Nine's available.
Yeah, but the
Bale
kid's
gave that up, didn't
he's
he?
21. He's on loan. Are we gonna give him the number that Gareth Bale last wore? You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Well,
We'll
didn't
do-
Brian
yeah,
Hill
we'll
have
do
it? What was it? Brian Hill had 11.
Brian Hill's got 11, yeah. Do you know what?
Well, he's off.
I don't know if this joke will go down well, considering the audience is a lot of Americans, but in the UK, there's a reason why I think that Harry Winks should wear the number 40, because he's always asleep. Kuva, please tell me you get that reference.
I do indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, mate.
Shit joke, though, Sean. Sorry.
Oh, shit audience, really. The joke was good. It's the shit audience.
On that note, I am now going back to sleep. Thank you,
I
lads.
got
I'm sorry for popping in.
The joke that
Cooper
put
and
Dermot
Phil.
to sleep.
Yeah. Eat him off. Buchel Dermo, boy. Buchel na hair. All right, cheers, brother. Eat him off.
Garamogagut there, Aaron. Listen,
bother,
sorry
brother.
guys sorry for popping in, Coover and Phil. I do apologise.
All right, no worries.
Right.
No problem, mate. It's your channel, mate.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking.
Dermot, it's always every time I'm watching the show, I think it's hilarious when you apologize for coming on your own channel.
So,
The best was when Sean was telling him
Never
to shut
stop
up on
doing
his
that.
own channel. Like, Dermot, just let me take the floor here, Dermot, on your channel.
Cody, the only reason I did that was because the other night on my channel, Dermot came in and said, actually, Sean, I actually want to hear from Kuva and Ellie on this particular point.
I saw that, Sean.
You know what, Sean?
Payback.
Oh, fair enough.
You know
This
what?
is sweet payback.
Dermot is your elder. Listen to your elders.
Well, you know what goes around comes around. Buddy.
It's like, fuck, somebody's just grown up there.
And then I said on top of that, I said, right, Coover, what do you think of this? Ask Coover a question.
Yeah. So that's the
Oh,
reason
that
I
was
had to do
funny.
it. Sorry, Dan. I love you, mate. But, you know.
Yeah, you too, right. Speak to you later, lads. Sorry.
I think.
Oh, thank you.
I
Lordship.
figured that one out. Sorry, I figured that one out the hard way, telling Will let somebody else speak on his channel, and Will went ballistic at me, man, and it ended up in verbals. But anyway,
I remember that.
Yeah. It was a half an hour argument between them, and there was 9 of us on the panel, man. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Me and Will are all rosy now. But yeah. I'm glad I don't have a channel, because I'd be a total dictator.
It's a difficult job being the host of a channel. It's very difficult.
I could imagine.
I'm learning as I go, and it's
Yeah.
it's bloody hard to, especially when you're doing it by yourself. When you got to manage the comments, you're trying to be entertaining. You're trying to also make sure. Like I feel like I need a stopwatch when you ask a question to someone, because you forget. Like you ask someone a question, they might be talking for 2 minutes, 10 seconds, or 10 minutes, and you after a while it blends in, and then you wait for them to finish, and you ask the next person, and they might have only been talking for a fraction of the time, but then you cut them off to bring someone else. It's so difficult. Like I've got so much respect for the people that have mastered the art, like the Irish Hotspur. Jack and Dave are so well versed in keeping
flow.
Not just the flow, but like holding court. You know, like making sure that everyone gets their say. It's a real art. It's an art form.
Well, it's like tonight, Phil and I barely have to say anything, because it's fine. Just let people go, because it's got natural flow and ebb and flow to it.
It's funny how the most popular shows on your channel are when you two shut the fuck up, eh?
Hey, Hey, Cody, it's
Wow.
gone from 24 to 12 viewers, so I wouldn't,
Oh, no.
you know.
That doesn't mean it's not the best show.
It is 3:30 in the fucking morning. I've got to walk my dog.
Oh, is
Bugsy
it?
Malone.
Oh, shit.
Bugsy Malone's got to be walked at like 7 o'clock, so I'm going to be a fucking mess tomorrow.
Do you call him Bugsy or Malone, or the full title Bugsy Malone?
I call her Bubba when she's being...
Her?
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Why has she got a man's name?
She hasn't got a man's name. She's got
Bugsy Malone was a Tommy gun lunatic from like Prohibition days, false act days, man.
Correct, but there's plenty of people out in the world that have unisex names, and just because Bugsy Malone has only been used once, it doesn't mean that it can't be used for the other version.
Okay, so your dog's a hermaphrodite.
No, she's like
your dog's woke, really woke.
Yeah, and I will not have you cancel her. Do not cancel her. How dare you?
He only calls her Bugsy Malone when he's mad.
I never call her Bugsy Malone. I call her Bugsy when she's misbehaving. She gets a stern Bugsy, but generally speaking, she's just Bubba.
Bubba, all right.
Yeah, I've ordered a custom dog canine Tottenham jersey with Bugsy number 0 on the back.
I'm trying to
like 6 weeks ago. Still hasn't arrived. I think I've been ripped off, to be honest.
Can you tell me where you got that? Because I wanted to send Shamu. Shamu's got the most beautiful cat called Bon after Bon Scott from AC/DC, and I wanted to get Bon a cash Tottenham top. Yeah, or sorry, for Shamu, but for Bon.
I'll dig it out. I don't have it in front of me now. I'll dig out. Next time we speak,
Cool.
Aaron, I'll let you know. But listen, I ordered it a long time ago, and it hasn't arrived yet. So I might have ordered it from one of those sites that promises the world and delivers. Kind of like Daniel Levy, you know.
You're a hero.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's a smart man. Smart man.
Smart at making money.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, Hot Spurious. That's savage, man. Wow.
Does the jersey.
Big.
DV in.
Hot Spurious. Who is Hot Spurious? Is he? Does anyone know him personally?
No, I'd love to.
He asked about the
Levy
joke.
In's trending now.
Or her, maybe? I don't know. Is it?
I don't think
good
Levy in
point.
is trending, but I think that Levy out won't be trending quite as much as it was 6 hours, 12 hours ago.
But I don't think it's based on. I don't think it's based on transfers
because of the pressure he's been under.
No, but the Levy out, Twitter trending will be based on the volume of hashtags that have been sent, and if to get to the top 5 trends in the UK or whatever, then you have to be more voluminous per hour than everything else. And I'd imagine that the volume of Levy outs has calmed down. I'd imagine. I don't know, but I would imagine it has. So it doesn't mean that it's changed anything. It just means that there's probably less people tweeting it. And maybe something's happened somewhere else. Maybe.
Sean, if we get 2 players this window, and they're the 2 Juventus players, Bentancur and Kulishevsky, how would you rate that window out of 10?
Oh, we had this conversation on Irish Hotspur. It depends on who we get rid of in order to make these deals happen. Because
yeah, fair point.
Let's say
we do need shit out though, So
let's say
to me, that's part.
Let's say it's Lo Celso and Delhi because those 2 look the most likely at this point.
I think we have room in the squad not to have to actually get rid of at least 1 player for every player we bring in. I think we have at least 1 spot open, so I wouldn't be surprised if only 1 player went.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's operate under the assumption that we move 1 player and we get those 2 Juventus players.
Yeah.
Would that satisfy you for the January window?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd call it a 7 out of 10 because I think they're both. Listen, like I've been saying, I don't want to repeat myself, but long before the January window opens and check the tape, Kulusevski was my number 1 target, far more than Diaz. I think Diaz was filling a hole that we don't have with a 1-footed player. He's a poor man's Sonny. He might become a superstar, but
I agree completely, Sean. I agree completely.
We didn't need him in that position. We got Sonny, and if he comes in If you look at the highlight reel of this man, he touches. He's a right-footed player only. He touches the ball in like 18, 20 minutes of highlight reels, where like every goal or every assist or whatever is like a 10-second thing. Like there's 2 touches with his left foot, so he couldn't play on the right of a 3. He couldn't play anywhere but maybe in the center, but I don't think so. But he has to play in the Sonny spot, which means that Sonny would have, if you want to play all 3, and you should want to play all 3, if you're going to pay 40 million for a guy, then he's going to be the 3rd highest signing that Tottenham ever had. You can't leave that guy on the bench, so you'd want to start him. You'd have to move Sonny over to the right to accommodate all 3 of the front, the traditional 3. And Sonny's never played on the right-hand side, even though Sonny's 2-footed. You're asking one of our best player, if not second best player, to play out of position to accommodate someone else who we don't need when we have a massive hole in the centre, a massive hole on the right, a massive hole at right wing back, a massive hole at the left-sided centre back.
A massive hole as chairman.
Maybe, but my point being that I didn't think that Diaz was necessary. I know that Diaz might become an absolute monster for Liverpool, and so be it. But Tottenham are not in the position that Liverpool are, and Tottenham needed other things, other holes filled. And I think Kulusevski basically solves. There's a giant hole in the middle of our pitch, and a giant hole in the second striker position. And Kulusevski can play anywhere in that whole pocket. So, for me, he was my number 1 choice. I'm delighted. Sometimes God works in mysterious ways. The Diaz thing was an embarrassment. But if it turns out that we get Kulusevski, and I fucking hope it does, because if it turns out that this is a bullshit transfer, then I'm going to be absolutely humiliated by everybody on this show.
No, it's 100,000% on.
Well, if it is, right, then Kulusevski, I think, is going to fill 2 or 3 holes that we have. And if we get this other guy in behind him, if we get this,
sexy.
If we get this other guy in
late night with Tottenham Tantrum Gold, where we fill multiple holes.
If we get
Sean,
this guy
Sean.
then I think you have. I think we can fill the hole left by or we can have a better version of either Højbjerg or Harry Winks, because I think the other guy can play. He can be the holder or he can be the passer. So look, I'm pumped by it, and especially if we can
pumped and all the holes. Oh, come on, Sean, you got to do better here, man.
If we can justify it by giving the finger to by giving the finger to Ndombele, then it's been a very sexy transfer window for me, and I've got a semi for the entire process.
Oh, brilliant! You got a fantastic way with words, Sean. No, that was brilliant, man.
Honestly,
giving these holes a lengthy consideration.
I hope Dermot isn't listening, lads. I really hope he's not listening, man. Oh my word!
Honestly, I have to say
he will be.
If we get Kulusevski and Bentancur, and then move on in Ndombele and Dele, then I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8. Actually,
we have to move 2 at least for me to give it a 7 out of 10. But just
when you say move,
Ndombele,
when you say move, are you talking about a loan or a sale?
Either a sale or a loan with the majority of their wages covered by the club taking them in, and there has to be either preferably an obligation to buy, but at least an option to buy attached to those loans. That's what I would say. Obviously, ideally, I would love to sell them, but there's no way we're going to sell those players. Absolutely not. The best we're going to get is probably a loan with an obligation to buy, where the majority of their wages, if not all, are covered by the other
I don't even think we'll get that. Or if we do get I think the best thing we'll get is 2 loans with options to buy, and the options will be like Daniel Levy. Very high price. The player would have to go and smash it to their uppermost potential in order for the club who's loaning them would even have any interest in buying it. But
honestly,
even if we just get rid of some of these, I really feel like players like Ndombele, if the things that are rumored are true, I don't want to jump on anyone's character here because we don't know these people, but Ndombele and Lo Celso, if some of the things that have been written about them are even half true, those aren't players who are bringing an energy to Hotspur way that I want. You know, like
Absolutely not, yeah.
they're I don't want to use they degrade the atmosphere around the club. They degrade the effort that the other players are putting in. They sow discontent. I don't want those players around, and it's clear to see that some of these players have brought that kind of energy and need to be cut out.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
don't disagree with that at all.
Yep. 100%.
It was always going to be the difficult bit. Shift, like, people describe them as the deadwood, but it's actually the players that are, like Cody says, are actually detrimental to the atmosphere.
Yeah. They're worse than zero.
We seem to have a few of those if you believe the press reports about them.
Have you ever worked with someone like that that's collecting a much bigger paycheck than you, but doing much less work than you?
Literally my job right now.
It is fucking horrible. Okay, and these are human beings at the end of the day. So if you think that someone who's on 40K a week looks over at Ndombele dragging his ass around and it doesn't affect them, I beg to differ. So we'll see.
Or Ben Davis. Ben Davis probably fucking hates Ndombele and Lo Celso.
Cody, when I used to work for Google in New York, I had a manager whose entire ethos was empowerment leadership. I'd come to him with a problem, and he'd say, "I trust you. You'll figure it out. Like I'm gonna let you take this." I'm like, "What is your style of management?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm an empowerment manager." I'm like, "That just means you don't do very much. That just means you just like you're passing the buck. You're just saying, yeah, okay, yeah, you fix it." Like, I fucking hate people that get themselves in high positions and just pick up a paycheck when. You're right, Cody. It's the most infuriating thing in the world when people are on higher money than you.
It's also one of the most human things in the world for that scenario to exist within a workspace. I bet like everybody in this panel has probably been subjected to that type of working condition at some point. It is unpleasant, especially if you are someone that has ambition for yourself, right? You feel like you're on a hamster wheel, for fuck's sake. So
I've quit several jobs for that reason, so I can fully attest to that. Yeah.
Like I do on and off work for my brother. Right? He's the biggest importer of German car parts in Ireland, the distributor. He fucking cruises around on his motorbike all day, but he employs competent staff. Right? He says, "Oh, I've got to go and visit a few customers and blah blah blah." And literally he buys a new motorbike every month or a new car every month and
Nice.
chops and changes and just cruises about. But he's got competent staff running the business. He's got me looking after a bit of IT and accounts for them. He's got other guys who can look after the business. But in some ways he's kind of earned that. But to bring it back to Levy, I don't think he's got the right staff on board, or he doesn't employ the right people. Yeah, you know, so like there's kind of two sides to that coin there on that one.
I once worked with in an engineering department in one of the local county councils, and the chief engineer one day asked me how to work out the area of a circle. The chief engineer.
I swear.
And did
yeah,
you
I was
remember
gonna
your,
say,
did you,
like
did you remember your
13 years old, you learn that.
My tongue got bitten fairly hard at that point.
Was it pi r squared or 2
pi r squared?
No, pi r squared.
One thing I always say is
pi d.
One thing I always say is one of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that people who are in positions of power or in important positions know what they're doing. Never assume that they know what they're doing just because of the station that they occupy, no matter what.
Yeah. In the world that I was in, a lot of people
that goes for football as well.
A lot of the management, as you got further up the kind of totem pole, you'd find that these senior managers would like pillow themselves with like someone just below them that was an unnecessary manager who was a yes man, just so that they could keep themselves always one step away from the people that were that had ideas or that would challenge the narrative.
Sounds like someone I know.
Yeah, no, I agree. Listen, this is like the one thing that I 100% like. When it comes to Daniel Levy, I am 1,000,000% like, I don't defend him and then say everything's good with Tottenham. I just say if you're gonna throw mud, rather than just everything that's bad about Tottenham, like throw it that way. Let's look into the kind of wormholes. Let's go into the rabbit hole and find out who is the coach. Who the fuck are the scouts at Tottenham? Who are they? Like, not just the chief scout. Who the fuck is the scout for Holland? Like, why hasn't he found anyone good for the last 3 years? Like, who discovered Bergwijn? Like, it's not just Paratici, or it's not just Hitchin, or it's not just, the people, like, there's the names that you hear about, but there's lots of people below that. Who are they? And that's where I want to spend my time analysing. I don't want to just go, everything's Daniel Levy's fault. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, because ultimately the buck stops with him. But I'd rather spend my time analysing in the minutiae. And not many.
Well, you said it there. If you just kind of like, I don't know, you've made a point against your own argument there, because you said, who does the book stop with?
Yeah, it does.
So that's why we're all frustrated.
No, I know.
Hire the people who are supposed to be in charge of
if you're a Levy out guy and you always want to throw the mud to the top because the buck stops there, if you're going to make that argument, it's a fine argument to make. But if you want to do that, then you also have to credit everything that's good, that has been good about Tottenham.
Yeah.
And like Tottenham,
I do.
Tottenham have made it to
but I
16
do.
semi-finals.
I love the stadium. I love the training ground.
Not just that. Even on the field, right? Tottenham made it to the Champions League final. And a lot of people say, well, that was luck that got there. And I'm saying,
I don't think it was luck.
Okay, so that's a good.
It was more like magic.
Well,
right,
I mean, I think
we got to 16 semi-finals or finals in the last 20 years. What was the difference between getting us to the next step, to close it, to converting that final? That's not Daniel Levy's fault. That's a mentality of the team thing. If you're good enough to get to the final, you should be good enough to convert. That's not a Daniel Levy problem. Yet Daniel Levy gets charred.
But that was when we needed investment the most.
I don't agree with that statement
because
at all.
We went 3 transfer windows without buying anyone.
Yeah, but we
spent
$1 billion.
Sorry,
Sean.
Yes.
When
you're talking
about
the
stadium in loans that are structured for a very long time,
they weren't
that
at the
are
time.
at favorable
they weren't
interest
at the time.
rates. But they have been refinanced since then.
Yeah, but they have now. But with that, when people say 3 transfer windows,
the stadium was also way over budget.
Yeah,
originally,
100%.
if
that
they had
wasn't his
stayed
fault.
in the budget, how is it not his fault? He oversaw the project. There are articles written from various sources that say he was involved in every step of the process, to the point that engineers and construction workers were annoyed with how much he interfered in the building of the stadium, and that he had a large hand in the fact that it was over budget and delayed, because he made it an ego thing, like he does everything else.
It's not true, Kerrion, right? So
if you just follow the narratives, all the articles that are written, people have spoken out, which is very few, unfortunately, but people who have spoken out, if you follow everything, it suggests that this man acts in a very pathological manner.
Both of you are correct. The price of materials skyrocketed at the time that we were building the stadium. That is partly that's part of the inflation that we can't really assign to Daniel Levy. Could he have had the foresight to see that coming and got the stadium underway sooner? Who knows? But both of you are correct. The stadium was over budget.
But what
some of the blame does have to fall at Daniel Levy's feet, but not all of it. Now, I want to circle back to the discussion about the opportunities.
You can only
the opportunities that Spurs have had to win trophies. Sean, you said that Spurs have been in a final or a semifinal X amount of times in the last 20 years. How many times?
16 semifinals or finals in the last 20 years, yeah.
How many of those semifinals and finals were Tottenham favored to win?
Oh, fuck, I don't know, man. No idea.
Probably none. Like
Everton, Portsmouth, or are you talking finals?
Yeah,
well, I mean, those semifinals.
What's the point? What's the point you're trying to make?
The point is, there is some onus to be placed on the way that the club is run. You cannot just blanket state that we've had these opportunities. Like, okay, so we just made a semifinal appearance in the Carabao Cup against a Chelsea side that are well and clear above us in terms of quality, depth, however you want to measure. They are better than we are, right? So that technically qualifies under the category of a semifinal made. But really, what were the odds? Because most of the time, you'll find that the odds are always stacked against Tottenham. We never have been in a cup final under ENIC where we were favored to win it. Never.
Yeah, and that's okay. But what's the point you're making?
The point I'm making is that the point that you made isn't valid. It's not. There's not much weight. You say that we had 16, 17 opportunities to win trophies because we made. No. But the thing is, we have never been in a position. We've never been in the pole position.
We lost to Blackburn in a. I was at the game. We lost to Blackburn in Cardiff in a Carling Cup final. We were absolute favourites for that game and we lost.
What about in a final?
Yeah, that was it. Blackburn. We lost in 2000. Was it 2011? Not sure when it was.
No,
it was much earlier than that.
2003,
4,
yeah, somewhere around that.
Well, those are nascent years of ENIC's ownership. You know what I mean? But
anyways,
you understand the point I'm making, right?
I do, and the point. But yeah, I do understand the point. I take it 100%. And but please don't always think that when I raise these arguments that it means that I'm 100% excusing anything. I'm not. I'm just throwing up the considerations, right? Just topics to.
Yes, but the problem is you get off on a tangent that begins with a fact like that, and it branches out, and I don't want to use ugly words, but it metastasizes until by the time we circle back.
Okay, well, let me get back to the point. The reason I raised it was because I was saying I made the point about whether or not the things that are on the pitch are ultimately does the buck stop at the top, right? And I said, if you want to do this thing where if you want to talk about the coaches and you want to talk about the scouts, I'm happy to go into those levels and not argue them or debate them, just research them, because I don't know the answers either. I don't know who the fuck the South American coach or the South American scout is. But if you want to take the argument of the buck ultimately stops at the top, that's a very fine argument to make.
You know what? I think that would make... I think that would make an excellent little mini series for a channel with ambition.
We should do
to go in, really go in depth and try and find out that scouting system and unearth what's gone on there. Because really, if we're serious about trying to win something, and we are accepting of the constraints of which this club is operated, then the scouting department and the talent development department, we cannot survive without them. Let alone
100%.
Get competitive. And it's been
100%.
we've been suffering like a talent drain over the last few years. Markanday this year. There's been other names. I was listening to the Extra Inch podcast, and they rattled off about 12 names. They go to the youth games a lot. They know the players, and we've lost a lot of talent. Some of them have turned into half decent prospects here. So there's a problem. There's something rotten there that needs to be unearthed.
This is what I keep harping on when I've been coming on this channel, and Will's as well, is that the scouting, the development, the academy, that is one of the worst parts, because ultimately there are two ways to be a successful club. You either spend a load of money in the transfer window, like the biggest clubs there are, or you have a successful academy and development system. And we don't anymore. We don't. We just,
and we can't compete with the best. We can't. Like we want to hire. We want to.
Our academy can compete our academy can compete if we not only invest, because I don't even think it's an issue of investment. I think it's just the personnel. I think we just need to completely overhaul the personnel in the scouting and youth development system, and bring in a totally new philosophy on how we're going to do this. It honestly, and this is part of my thing with Levy. I do believe the buck stops with him, because in my experience, when there are problems from top to bottom, like shit rolls downhill. It always starts at the top.
But Kerry,
it works its way down. Stuff doesn't rot from the bottom up.
If I may, buddy, if I just quickly, I know, sorry, I'm interrupting. I'm sorry. if I may, like, the argument that the buck stops it's a fine argument to make, and this goes back to the thing I was trying to say before we got sidetracked. Is if you want to make that argument, it's fine. But if you're going to say that everything, and we don't want to look into the details, we don't want to go into the rabbit holes, we don't want to go into the minutiae or the nuance, then everything stops with Daniel Levy that's bad. Then you also have to credit him with everything that's good. And the reason I was talking about the cup finals is because a lot of people who, when we talk about what's good about what's happened over the last 20 years, the Champions League final et al., a lot of people say that was luck. And I say, this is the argument I'm confronted with all the time. That was luck, but all the shit that's bad is not luck. That's not bad luck. That's skill. It's poor skill. It's bad skill. But when we've done well, and I say, no, you can't attribute fortune. If you're trying to have a cogent argument where two people on both sides can respect each other's opinion, then you can't, as an individual subjective person, allocate fortune where you decide it to be relevant to suit your argument. And people that are Levy out say everything that's bad throughout the club, on the pitch and off the pitch, is Daniel Levy's fault, and everything that's good on the pitch, everything that got us to the finals that we didn't convert, that was luck, or it's not Daniel Levy's fault, or it's not Daniel Levy's responsibility. And all I'm saying is, if you're going to take the argument of the buck stops at the top, then you have to cast the same brush, and you can't allocate fortune where you want to suit your argument. And so therefore, if Daniel Levy is responsible for all of the failures, he's also responsible for getting us to the Champions League final. And then
How is he responsible for getting us to the Champions League final?
Because if the buck stops at the top, then the buck stops at the top for everything, not just for the things that suit the arguments that you want to make.
No, it's that the buck stops at the top for failures.
That's
the whole point.
You can't make that point. The buck stops at the top for the success and the failures. That's the point I'm making. Come on, man.
No, I mean, to some degree, you get credit for the decisions you make.
No,
but
if Daniel Levy hired the guy,
when the people at the top fail, it has a worse proportionate effect on the club than when the people at the bottom fail.
No,
when
Daniel
the people
Levy,
at the bottom
Sean,
2 secs.
I mean, it's a silly argument.
I mean, it's about proportional damage to the club and what happens. It is not proportionate. It's not proportionate to say it's 50-50. It's completely he gets equal credit for all things. That is ridiculous. It's not because you assume that the people at the top should know what they're doing and make pragmatic, appropriate decisions, but he does not.
Who gets the credit for Tottenham getting to the Champions League final? Pochettino, right?
I'd say God.
Honestly, if you look at the way,
you can't allocate luck where you want
let me make the argument then. I'll tell you why. Because if you look at the way the out of the things that Daniel Levy can control, he gets credit for Mauricio Pochettino hiring him. I'll give him that. I'll give him credit for a few signings. Most of them were, average players for a while until Mauricio Pochettino was able to develop them. But I think his skill as a coach is incredible, and I don't think it was a known quantity when he was entering the job. So I think I give him credit for hiring him, but he couldn't have known what he would become, and that doesn't take it away. I understand. He still, I'll still give him credit for that. But honestly, with the amount that was spent on transfers, the types of players that were brought in,
you blame
the lack of spending in 3 transfer windows, which is unheard of a club of Tottenham size. Nobody does this. It's not like this happens to clubs from time to time. Even clubs in awful financial situations find ways to refresh the team because they know if the team succeeds on the pitch, it provides them an avenue out of their financial situation. Everybody does something in the transfer window.
Name another club that built $1 billion stadium.
Well, maybe that wasn't the best decision for the club, and I've said that for a while.
It's the only decision.
It didn't have to be $1 billion stadium with a built-in NFL pitch. You can still It didn't have to be. No, you could have still built an excellent state. Look at the stadium that Everton is planned to build. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know what the status of it is, but it looked like an excellent football stadium that you can still have massive capacity without all the extra bullshit that is packed inside that stadium. It's just there is an analogy in American sports to this, and that's the Dallas Cowboys stadium. It's a monstrosity. It's this giant, over-designed, overdeveloped, extremely expensive amusement park where the sport played is not the focus, but it's everything else. And I feel like that's part of the problem with this new stadium, and I think it's part of the problem with the club and the feeling in the club. Sure, I'm sure the stadium's amazing. I've seen it. I haven't been yet. I'd like to go, but I've seen all the pictures of all the parts inside the stadium, and it looks amazing. But I can tell you there is a downside to that, because I see it over here in the States where ridiculous amounts of money are spent on stadiums all the time, and not only are they spent on stadiums by the owners, but it comes out of taxpayer money from the cities as well.
Karen, you're getting off the point there, mate.
It isn't always ultimately the best decision for a team, for a professional sports team.
Carry on, mate. Listen, it's 4:00. I've got to go to bed. But I want to say, like, the point that I was making was that if you're someone who takes the argument that everything stops at the top, which is what you said, right? We don't know who to blame in the scouting. We don't know who identified Ndombele and convinced Daniel Levy to pay 200 grand a week and 60 million quid for an absolute shit show. We don't necessarily know who that, but because Daniel Levy's the fall guy, he gets all of the blame. And I'm like, that's fine. If you don't want to look into who's responsible ultimately, and you want to go up the top and go Daniel Levy, that you can't run with the foxes and hunt with the hounds. You can't allocate all blame to the guy at the top who doesn't have a fucking clue who Ndombele is, let alone whether he was a good signing. You can't allocate the blame to him.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Who do you blame then, Sean?
And if
Who
you take that documentary or any of the articles written about the man, any of the articles written about the man in various publications, then you would have to reject all of that as any kind of evidence as to what kind of a guy this is and how involved he is in every level of the club. Because
let me ask Sean something.
Repeated by so many people over the years.
Sean.
No, he doesn't know what he's doing in terms of football, and that's part of the problem, because he meddles in things that he doesn't understand.
Let me ask Sean a question here.
There is evidence of this that you just don't
Levy
want
was
to
a CEO of a bank,
some
he'd be out the fucking door 15 years ago, man.
What are you,
Sean? Listen, I want to ask.
My father was a CEO of a bank, man. All right, so I fucking know what I'm talking about. Gobshite.
Sean, how many years to get it right?
He bought the club for 22 million. It's now valued at 3 billion, mate. He wouldn't be out of the door. I wasn't sorry, mate. Listen, you haven't got to call me.
He didn't buy the club. Enoch bought the club.
He's a 25% shareholder of it.
Yes, 25%.
Either way, whatever.
Yes,
either way,
but he's still
£22 million
Joe
into
Lewis.
a $3
Joe
billion
Lewis
company.
is the guy.
He's not
and
gonna
yes,
get kicked
he
out.
may be in charge of
He wouldn't
running
get kicked
the
out
club.
of the bank. He wouldn't get kicked
No,
out
he's
of the
not
bank.
going to get kicked out. But I mean,
He
there
would
is
be
a possibility
done if
he could be forced
any other
to
fucking business
withdraw
other than
as
football.
control.
He would have been gone a long time ago.
On what grounds?
Okay, but
Gross incompetence, my friend, and failure.
Sean,
Failure for
if you think
success.
about-
Okay, it's too late.
I just want to ask Sean how many years he wants to wait for Levy to get it right. Like what is the standard here? Because this has been 21 years. You would think that in 21 years you would make enough mistakes to get it right eventually. Right? Has he really got it right? You say, without Levy we wouldn't have made it to the finals. What fucking good is that? What good is that for us when we go away to West Ham to banter spammers with? Are we supposed to say, we made the finals? It was
we have been at the West Ham that haven't won anything in 50, 60 years.
Yeah, but we have at one point been ranked as the 8th richest club in the world. And there are dozens of clubs below that who have won multiple trophies for years over the 20 some odd years that ENIC have owned the club. It's not like it's not like
ever since
it's not like a lot of
2009,
it's not like a lot of clubs who are proportionately in the same area of their leagues and their countries as Spurs have not had more success than we have. They have.
Your arguments are full of whataboutery and look over there, Sean. All right?
I mean,
that's all
the embarrassments and failures on the European
Let Sean
stage.
rebut here.
Carry on, just 1 second. I'm actually going to go to bed. Aaron, I just want to say to you, mate, I didn't mean to offend you when I said what you're talking about. Like, I'm a little bit tipsy, mate. I actually appreciate you. I didn't mean to offend you, man. I know when you say something like what you're talking about, it comes across very arrogant. I didn't mean it to, bro. But when I don't agree with you that Daniel Levy would have been sacked from a bank because he has generated a bank. If anybody's going to appreciate the kind of profits that Daniel Levy's got, it's the bank.
Okay. So you said a bad analogy there. But what I'm saying is,
either way,
the product.
I was too late. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, Aaron. I'm gonna go to bed. I do love you, mate. I didn't mean to offend you. If I did, I'm sorry.
No, I'm not offended, man. I know I've had a few beers into me too, mate. So we're all cool, yeah. We're cool.
Take the apology on the for what it's worth.
Yeah, and you too, man. I apologise. Didn't mean to call you a gobshite.
I love you guys, but it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and we can be doing this for 2 hours.
We're going to call it now.
Sean,
I love you.
Sean,
4 o'clock in the morning.
Bye, Sean.
Cody.
Bye, Sean. Bye, Sean.
To be continued, guys.
John.
Good Sean. See you.
Love you all. Take care.
Cheers, Sean.
No.
Peace, man.
We're gonna wrap it up
Fuck
anyway.
off.
Levy out.
I'm muting you all. Shush. No, just a big up to everyone that's come on the show. So Aaron, Cody, Sean, Kerry-Ann, all the guys in the chat. You know, we've had a good outing tonight. 3 hours, way longer than we thought, but for us poor souls over here, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and you know we got things to do like sleep and bed. So
and I'm a bit pissed.
Yeah, it is a massive thank you. Coov, anything you want to add, my man?
No, done Levy out already, but we'll do it again. Levy out.
After 3, and always, Levy
out.
Stay.